My child, it's over, and you can feel it, even if you have not had the courage to say it out loud yet. Something in your life has reached its limit, and your spirit knows this is not random. This is not coincidence. This is a turning point. I need you to listen carefully and stay with me all the way through, because what I am about to reveal will confront the fear you have been carrying and replace it with clarity. Do not rush this moment. Do not let distraction pull you away. What you hear next will help you understand why doors closed, why people shifted, and why your desires have changed. Stay until the end. This message is not general, it is personal, and it is about you. My child, come closer and let me speak to you gently about what has been shifting in your life. You have felt it, even if you could not name it. There has been a quiet sense inside you that something is finishing. It has shown up in small ways at first. Conversations that once held your attention now leave you feeling distant. Places that used to comfort you feel unfamiliar. Even your own thoughts have begun to change. You have tried to ignore it because endings can feel frightening, especially when you do not yet see what is replacing them. But I want you to understand something very clearly. What is ending is not your future. What is ending is the season that kept you confined. You have outgrown spaces that once fit you, and that realization feels unsettling because you built parts of your identity around surviving there. You learned how to adapt, how to bend, how to tolerate. Those skills helped you endure, but they were never meant to define your whole life. When you sense something closing, you immediately worry that you are losing stability. You begin asking yourself if you made a mistake, if you should try harder, if you should go back to how things were. I see those questions forming in your mind. I see the hesitation in your heart. And I want you to hear me clearly. This ending is not punishment. It is protection and progression intertwined. I am not tearing something away from you to leave you empty. I am guiding you out of what can no longer support who you are becoming. You have changed more than you realize. Your tolerance for certain behaviors has shifted. Your hunger for something deeper has grown. You cannot remain where you were and still step into what I have prepared for you. That is why it feels like something is quietly dismantling around you. It is not chaos. It is alignment taking place. You are not falling behind. You are being repositioned. You might still feel grief as you read this, and that is natural. Even necessary endings carry weight. You invested time, emotion, and hope into the chapter that is closing. You picture different outcomes. You imagine growth happening within the same framework you have known. Letting go of that picture feels like losing a version of the future you once held tightly. I do not dismiss that pain. I sit with you in it. I know you are tired of starting over. I know you crave something that lasts. But what you call starting over, I call stepping forward. The shock you are experiencing is not because everything is collapsing. It is because you are waking up to the truth that you were meant for more than maintenance and survival. For a long time, you adjusted yourself to fit environments that were too small for your spirit. You told yourself to be grateful for whatever you received, even when it drained you. Now your heart refuses to shrink again. That refusal feels uncomfortable because it requires you to trust me in unfamiliar territory. You cannot see the full path ahead, and that lack of visibility makes you anxious. Yet you can sense that staying where you were would slowly dim your light. So here you stand, between what is ending and what has not fully appeared. It feels exposed. It feels uncertain. But it is holy ground. This is the place where growth becomes undeniable. This is where you stop negotiating with what hurts you. This is where you begin understanding that when I say something is over, I am not closing your story. I am clearing space for the part of your life that will reflect who you truly are becoming. My child, I want you to look closely at what you once called stability. I am not asking you to judge yourself. I am asking you to see clearly. You held on to certain structures in your life because they felt steady. You told yourself that as long as nothing completely collapsed, you were safe. You measured peace by the absence of disaster instead of the presence of joy. And I watched you do this with a sincere heart. You were not trying to settle, you were trying to survive. You built routines around people who gave you just enough attention to keep you hoping. You stayed in environments that offered predictability but not purpose. You convinced yourself that consistency was the same thing as calling. It was not cruelty that kept you there. It was fear of the unknown. You did not want chaos. You did not want to lose what little security you thought you had. But what you called security was often silent strain. It was quiet compromise. It was a slow surrender of your deeper desires. I need you to understand something important. Stability without alignment will slowly suffocate your spirit. You felt that suffocation long before you admitted it. That heaviness in your chest when you woke up each morning was not random. That reluctance to fully invest your heart was not laziness. It was your soul whispering that something was off. I was speaking to you in those whispers. I was nudging you through that discomfort. You did not fail because you stayed as long as you did. You stayed because you hoped things would change. You believed that if you tried harder, loved better, worked longer, something would shift. There is sincerity in that effort. There is dignity in the way you tried. But now I am asking you to stop trying to stabilize what was never meant to sustain you. Release your grip. Breathe deeply. Acknowledge that what felt steady was actually shrinking you. I am not criticizing your past decisions. I am revealing the truth behind them. You adapted to environments that required you to dim your light. You learned how to keep peace by staying quiet. You learned how to avoid conflict by lowering expectations. That adaptation helped you endure seasons that could have crushed you. But you are not in that same season anymore. You are not the same person who once needed that arrangement. So let me say this gently but clearly. It is over for the illusion that survival equals fulfillment. The chapter has served its purpose. You are not meant to camp in coping mode forever. Stand up in your spirit and admit that you crave something deeper. Speak it out loud if you need to. Say, I want more than maintenance. Do not be ashamed of that hunger. I placed that hunger inside you. Now I want you to consider the cost of clinging to what only feels familiar. Familiarity can be comforting, but it can also be confining. You stayed because you knew the rules. You understood the patterns. You could predict the disappointment before it arrived, and somehow that felt safer than risking a new possibility. You preferred known discomfort over unknown potential. I do not condemn you for that. I understand the way fear works. Fear can sound practical. It can sound wise. It can tell you that staying where you are is mature and responsible. But you felt the inner conflict. You felt the tension between your current reality and the future I was stirring in your heart. That tension was not confusion. It was contrast. Contrast between where you were and where you are called to be. Let that word settle in you for a moment. Contrast. The difference between tolerating and thriving. The difference between managing and multiplying. The difference between existing and expanding. I am inviting you now to choose expansion. Stop negotiating with smallness. Stop convincing yourself that limited love is better than loneliness. Stop calling emotional drought normal. I am not leading you into chaos. I am leading you into growth. Growth may feel unstable at first because it requires movement. But movement is not the same as collapse. You have been afraid that letting go will leave you with nothing. I am telling you to trust me with the space that opens when you release what is no longer aligned. Do not rush to fill that space with another distraction. Do not panic and run back to what I am gently removing. Stay with me in the transition. Sit with the discomfort without scrambling to fix it. This is where faith becomes real, not in the loud moments, but in the quiet shift when you choose to believe that I am guiding you even when you cannot see the outcome. Invite me into your uncertainty. Ask me to reorder your desires. Ask me to rebuild your definition of stability. Because true stability is not found in something that merely stays. It is found in something that strengthens you while you stand on it. I am building that kind of foundation for you now. It may not look impressive to others yet. It may not come with applause, but it will carry you without draining you. It will support you without shrinking you. And when you look back, you will realize that what ended was never your safety. That with the cage disguised as comfort. My child, I want you to be honest with yourself right now. Not the polished honesty you show others. Not the careful version that sounds strong and composed. I am talking about the quiet truth you feel when you finally sit alone and let your shoulders drop. You have been tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. You have called it stress. You have called it responsibility. You have blamed your schedule, your age, your circumstances. But deep down, you know it has been more than that. It has been soul deep strain. You have been carrying conversations in your head long after they ended. You have been replaying decisions, wondering if you missed something, wondering if you should have done more. That mental weight has followed you into your mornings and into your nights. I saw the way you smiled while feeling stretched thin inside. I saw how you kept showing up even when your heart felt like it was running on fumes. And I need you to hear me clearly. That exhaustion was not a sign of weakness. It was a signal. It was your spirit's way of telling you that you were overextending yourself in places that were not feeding you back. You have been pouring into spaces that barely acknowledged your effort. You told yourself that endurance was noble, that pushing through proved your strength. There is truth in perseverance, but there is also wisdom in recognizing depletion. I am asking you now to stop pretending that you are not drained. Admit it to yourself. Say it plainly, I am tired. Not to complain, but to confront reality. You have been living in quiet overdrive. Your mind hath been on constant alert, scanning for problems, anticipating disappointment. That kind of vigilance wears down the strongest heart. I never intended for you to operate in survival mode indefinitely. You learned how to function under pressure, and that skill kept you afloat during storms. But storms are not meant to become your climate. Your body felt it before your mind accepted it. The heaviness in your chest, the short patience, the way small tasks felt overwhelming. Those were not random irritations. They were indicators. You were stretched beyond what was sustainable. And instead of resting, you tried to compensate. You worked harder. You gave more. You silenced your own needs to keep everything running smoothly. That pattern ends here. It is over for the version of you that believes burnout is bravery. I want you to pause. Close your eyes for a moment after you read this. Take a slow breath. Let it fill your lungs fully. Then release it slowly. Feel how your body responds when you stop pushing for just a second. That relief you sense is not laziness. It is your nervous system remembering what calm feels like. I am inviting you into that calm. Not as an escape, but as a reset. Now listen closely, because this part matters deeply. You have been confusing responsibility with over-responsibility. You have been taking on emotional burdens that were never assigned to you. You'd absorbed other people's moods, You tried to manage their reactions. You carried guilt for things that were not your fault. That constant internal negotiation has been draining you more than any workload ever could. It is time for you to release what does not belong to you. Say this quietly in your heart: I am not responsible for fixing everyone. Let that truth settle. You are allowed to care without caring. You are allowed to love without losing yourself. I want you to examine the agreements you made in silence. The unspoken promises to always be the strong one, the understanding one, the available one. Those agreements may have earned you appreciation at times, but they cost you peace. You do not need to earn your place by exhausting yourself. You do not need to prove your worth by constantly rescuing others. Step back. Step away from the pressure to be everything for everyone. Invite me into the spaces where you feel overwhelmed. Ask me to show you what is yours to hold and what is yours to release. This is not about abandoning people. It is about alignment. It is about clarity. It is about recognizing that when you carry too much, you cannot walk freely. I want your steps to feel steady again. I want your mind to feel spacious instead of crowded. There is a difference between meaningful effort and endless strain. Learn that difference. Practice that difference. When you feel the urge to overextend, pause and ask yourself if this is truly required or if it is habit. You have operated in a pattern of overgiving for so long that rest feels unfamiliar. But rest is not retreat. It is restoration. And restoration is essential if you are going to step into what is next. The shock you are experiencing right now is not just about external endings. It is about internal realization. You cannot continue living at the same pace and expect to feel alive. So I am gently, but firmly redirecting you. Slow down. Reevaluate. Reclaim your energy. Protect your peace with intention. I am not asking you to withdraw from life. I am guiding you into a healthier rhythm. One where your giving flows from fullness instead of fatigue. One where your presence feels grounded instead of pressured. Trust me in this adjustment. The exhaustion was a warning. The shift you feel now is the beginning of renewal. My child, even when something unhealthy ends, your heart can still ache. You need to allow that truth without criticizing yourself. You invested time. You invested hope. You imagined growth happening within the structure you knew. When that structure dissolves, it can feel like something precious has slipped through your hands. You may even question whether you gave up too soon or whether you should have tried harder. That questioning is natural. It shows that you cared. It shows that you were not indifferent. But let me gently redirect your perspective. Grief does not always mean you lost something good. Sometimes grief simply means you are adjusting to change. You are mourning the expectation more than the reality. You are releasing the version of the story you wanted, not necessarily the one that truly existed. That distinction matters. Sit with it. Consider what you are actually grieving. Is it the relationship itself, or the future you pictured? Is it the job, or the identity you attached to it? Is it the routine, or the sense of certainty it gave you? When you clarify that, you begin to see the difference between illusion and truth. I am not minimizing your pain. I am inviting you to understand it more deeply. You feel lost because you are human. You bond. You hub. You build. And when something ends, your nervous system reacts as if something vital has been taken away. But look closely at what has truly been removed. In many cases, what ended was draining you quietly. What ended was limiting your growth. What ended was keeping you in a cycle that no longer aligned with who you are becoming. And yet, because it was familiar, your heart protests its departure. That protest does not mean you made the wrong decision. It means you are transitioning. Transition can feel like disorientation. You are leaving what you know and stepping toward what you cannot yet see clearly. That space in between can feel empty. Do not rush to fill it. Do not scramble to replace what ended just to quiet the discomfort. Sit in the in-between with me. Invite me into the ache. Tell me honestly what you miss. Speak it without shame. Then allow me to show you the broader picture. I am not taking away your joy. I am removing what was preventing deeper joy from reaching you. I want you to notice something subtle. Even in your sadness, there is a small thread of relief. It may be faint, but it is there. A quiet sense that you no longer have to try so hard. A subtle easing in your chest when you realize you do not have to manage that dynamic anymore. That relief is important. Do not ignore it. It is evidence that the ending was necessary. Grief and relief can coexist. They do not cancel each other out. You can miss someone and still know the connection was not healthy. You can feel nostalgic about a season and still recognize it was time to move on. Give yourself permission to hold both emotions without labeling yourself inconsistent. You are not confused. You are processing. Processing takes time. It requires honesty. It requires stillness. I'm asking you now to stop fighting your feelings. Let them surface. Let the tears come if they need to. Let the silence settle around you. There is healing in allowing emotion to move through you instead of suppressing it. Do not shame yourself for grieving something that I am closing. I am not offended by your sadness. I understand attachment. I understand hope. But I also see what you cannot yet see. I see the freedom forming ahead of you. I see the relationships that will not require you to overperform. I see the opportunities that will align naturally instead of forcing you to contort. I see the environment where your presence will feel welcomed rather than tolerated. That future cannot fully arrive while you cling to what is ending. So release gently. Open your hands slowly. Say to me, help me let go with grace. Invite my comfort into your uncertainty. I am not rushing you through this. I am walking you through it. The loss you feel today will eventually transform into clarity. The ache you experience now will refine your understanding of what you truly need. And one day, you will look back and realize that what felt like devastation was actually deliverance. My child, lean in and let me speak plainly to your heart. You have been sensing that something decisive has happened, and you are right. There has been a line crossed in your spirit. Not loudly, not with spectacle, quietly, deeply, permanently. What is over is not your hope. What is over is the agreement you made with smallness. For a long time, you tolerated less than what stirred inside you because you feared losing what little you had. You accepted half-hearted affection. You accepted inconsistent effort. You accepted environments where your value had to be explained instead of recognized. You told yourself that patience required silence, that humility required shrinking, that love required self-erasure. I watched you do this with a sincere desire to keep peace. But peace built on self-betrayal is not peace at all. It is pressure disguised as calm. And I am ending that pattern in you. It is over for the version of you who believed you had to earn basic respect. It is over for the cycle where you overextended yourself just to avoid being left behind. You are not desperate. You are not difficult. You are not asking for too much when you ask to be valued. Let that truth settle deeply. I want you to sit with it. Say it quietly if you need to. I am worthy of more. Not in arrogance. In alignment. The shock you feel right now is not because I removed something precious. It is because I interrupted a pattern you had normalized. You had grown accustomed to living slightly unsatisfied, slightly overlooked, slightly unseen. That slight imbalance accumulated over time. It shaped your self-image in subtle ways. You started to doubt your instincts. You started to question your standards. You convinced yourself that wanting depth was unrealistic. I never planted that belief in you. That belief grew from repeated compromise. And now it is being uprooted. This may feel abrupt. It may feel like the rug has been pulled from beneath you. But what I am removing was never a foundation. It was a fragile framework that required constant effort to maintain. You were carrying it more than it was carrying you. I am not condemning your past tolerance. It helped you survive a season that required flexibility. But survival mode cannot become your identity. You are not called to live in perpetual adjustment. You are called to stand in clarity. I want you to examine the standards you lowered out of fear, the boundaries you softened out of guilt, the silence you maintained out of politeness. Those adjustments protected you at one point, but they also restricted you. And now your spirit is no longer willing to comply. This is not rebellion. It is awakening. It is alignment. It is your inner self finally saying, enough. Listen to that voice. Do not override it with old habits. When you feel the urge to apologize for needing consistency, pause. When you feel tempted to accept crumbs because you fear emptiness, step back. Invite me into that moment. Ask me to strengthen your resolve. Because what is over is the era where you negotiated your worth. That contract has expired. Do not renew it. Now let me guide you further into this truth. The ending you are experiencing is not just external, it is internal. Something inside you has shifted. You are less willing to chase what does not reciprocate. You are less eager to prove yourself to those who remain unimpressed. That shift is growth. It may feel lonely at first because you are stepping out of familiar patterns. But loneliness born of integrity is different from loneliness born of rejection. The first one leads to expansion. The second one leads to contraction. I am guiding you toward expansion. I want you to stand in front of a mirror today and look at yourself without criticism. Look at your eyes. Look at the strength that has formed there through every disappointment. You have endured more than you acknowledge. You have adapted more than most people realize. And now you are being invited to evolve. Do not cling to outdated definitions of yourself. You are not the person who once needed approval to feel secure. You are not the person who once believed inconsistency was normal. Your tolerance has matured. Your discernment has sharpened. The sharpening may feel uncomfortable because it cuts through illusion, but it also clears confusion. I want you to release the guilt that arises when you choose yourself. Choosing yourself does not mean abandoning others. It means honoring the growth I have cultivated within you. It means refusing to betray your inner clarity for temporary comfort. Command your thoughts when they try to drag you back into doubt. Speak to them firmly. Tell them that season is finished. Do not romanticize what drained you. Do not rewrite history to make dysfunction appear gentle. See it honestly. You survived it. You learned from it. And now you are stepping beyond it. I am not asking you to harden your heart. I am asking you to strengthen your boundaries. There is a difference. Hardened hearts shut out possibility. Strong boundaries protect peace. Choose strength without losing softness. Choose clarity without losing compassion. I am building in you a quiet confidence that does not need applause. It does not need validation. It rests in alignment. That alignment may cost you certain connections. It may shift dynamics you once relied on. Let it. Trust the recalibration. The truth about what is over is simple. You will no longer participate in your own diminishment. Atira has concluded. Breathe that in. Accept it. Walk forward with your head steady and your heart open. My child, you anticipated that transformation would arrive with noise. You imagined breakthrough as dramatic and undeniable. You thought change would come with fireworks and clear announcements. Instead, it has unfolded quietly, subtly, almost imperceptibly at first. That is why it startled you. You did not expect growth to feel like detachment. You did not expect clarity to feel like separation. But that is often how real change begins. It does not shout. It shifts. It adjusts your appetite. It alters your tolerance. It reorders your priorities without spectacle. And because there is no dramatic soundtrack, you question whether anything significant is happening. Let me assure you, it is. The shock you are experiencing is the realization that you are no longer interested in what once consumed you. Conversations that used to excite you now feel shallow. Opportunities that once tempted you now feel misaligned. Even your own reactions are changing. You respond more calmly where you once reacted impulsively. You pause where you once pursued. That is growth in motion. Do not underestimate it. Sit with it. Observe it. Appreciate it. You are not becoming indifferent. You are becoming discerning. There is a difference. Indifference numbs. Discernment clarifies. You are not withdrawing from life. You are refining your engagement with it. That refinement can feel disorienting because it disrupts familiar rhythms. People may notice the difference in you before you fully articulate it yourself. They may ask why you seem quieter, why you seem less reactive, why you seem less eager to participate in certain patterns. Let them wonder. You do not owe everyone an explanation for your evolution. I am guiding you through a recalibration. Recalibration often feels like reduction before it feels like expansion. Certain distractions are falling away. Certain habits are losing their appeal. That is not boredom. That is alignment adjusting your focus. Invite this adjustment instead of resisting it. Say to me, shape my desires. Allow me to refine your motivations. I am not stripping joy from your life. I am redirecting it toward what will sustain you long term. The shock comes from realizing that what once satisfied you no longer does. That realization can feel like loss at first, but it is actually evidence of maturity. You are not meant to crave what diminishes you. You are not meant to remain captivated by what confines you. Growth changes taste. Growth changes tempo. Growth changes threshold. And you are growing. And now let me speak directly to the unease you feel when everything is not loudly affirming your progress. You have been conditioned to associate movement with momentum you can measure. You look for visible milestones. You look for confirmation from others. But the most profound transformations happen internally before they manifest externally. You are shifting from performance to presence, from urgency to intention, from scattered striving to steady direction. The transition may feel slower, but it is stronger. I want you to trust what is happening beneath the surface. Just because you cannot yet display it does not mean it is not real. Seeds grow underground long before they break through soil. Your shift is like that. Quiet, hidden, powerful. Do not rush to prove your progress. Live it. Embody it. Let it integrate fully. I am reshaping how you see yourself. I am dissolving outdated narratives. I am untangling you from identities that were built on coping rather than calling. That unraveling can feel destabilizing because it challenges who you thought you were. But what I am forming in you is more authentic than anything you have worn before. Command yourself to stay patient in this stage. Resist the urge to force visible outcomes. Resist the temptation to retreat back into familiar chaos just because it feels active. There is strength in stillness. There is clarity in quiet growth. You do not need noise to validate transformation. You need trust. Trust me with the unseen adjustments. Trust yourself as you respond differently to old triggers. Trust the calm that is replacing urgency. The shock is not disruption. It is development. You are not losing your spark. You are refining your flame. And refined fire burns steadier than scattered sparks ever could. Stay with me in this shift. Let it unfold without demanding spectacle. The truth being revealed is not loud. It is lasting. My child, I want you to prepare your heart for something that may sting before it settles. As you grow, not everyone will grow with you. As you shift, not everyone will shift beside you. This is not because you have become difficult. It is because you have become different. There is a difference, and that difference matters. You have started thinking more clearly. You have started speaking more honestly. You have started declining invitations that once felt automatic. The change does not go unnoticed. Some people were comfortable with a version of you that bent easily. They knew how to navigate your silence. They knew how to benefit from your overgiving. When you begin to stand straighter, when your boundaries become firmer, and your tone becomes calmer but clearer, it unsettles those who preferred you uncertain. I want you to resist the urge to shrink again just to maintain comfort. Do not apologize for evolving. Do not dilute your growth to keep someone else at ease. Let me say that gently, but directly. You are not responsible for making others comfortable with your transformation. You may feel the tension. You may sense distance where there once was closeness. Conversations may feel strained. Energy may shift. You might wonder if you did something wrong. Pause before you assume guilt. Ask yourself whether the connection was built on mutual growth or on your constant accommodation. That question requires courage. Have it. Sit with it. I am not asking you to judge anyone harshly. I am asking you to see clearly. Some relationships were seasonal. Some bonds were built around shared wounds, not shared vision. When you start healing, the bond changes. That does not make you ungrateful. It makes you aware. I want you to examine the difference between loyalty and limitation. Loyalty honors love. Limitation restrains growth. If someone can only relate to you when you are struggling, that connection cannot sustain your elevation. Let that truth land softly in your heart. You do not need to cut people off aggressively. You do not need dramatic exits. What you do need discernment. You need to recognize when proximity is no longer productive. Command yourself not to return to old patterns simply because new territory feels lonely. Loneliness during growth is different from isolation in dysfunction. The first is transitional. The second is destructive. I am guiding you through transition. Trust me with the discomfort. When you feel tempted to over-explain your boundaries, stop. When you feel pressure to justify your clarity, breathe. You are allowed to evolve without a committee vote. You are allowed to step into a new standard even if others remain in the old one. Let your growth speak for itself. You do not need to argue your expansion. Live it quietly, consistently, with integrity. Now I want you to understand something deeper. The people who cannot follow you are not necessarily enemies. They may simply be attached to who you were. They may struggle to reconcile the memory of you with the maturity of you. Attention can create subtle resistance. You might sense passive comments. You might notice reduced enthusiasm. You might feel less validation than before. Do not interpret that as proof you should revert. Interpret it as evidence that you are stepping into new ground. Growth often reveals who was connected to your potential and who was attached to your predictability. There is a difference between those two attachments. One celebrates your expansion. The other tolerates you only within familiar limits. I want you to choose relationships that can handle your increase. Choose spaces where your confidence is not mistaken for arrogance. Choose conversations where your boundaries are respected rather than resented. This requires discernment, not defensiveness. Stay open-hearted but observant. Do not harden yourself. Do not assume everyone will leave. Some will rise with you. Some will surprise you with their support. But you must be willing to release those who cannot adjust. That release may feel like rejection at first. It is not rejection. It is redirection. You are being guided toward connections that match your current capacity. Do not chase those who fall away. Do not beg for understanding from those committed to misunderstanding. Preserve your energy. Protect your peace. Invite me into moments when doubt creeps in. Say to me, strengthen my resolve. I will. I am not isolating you. I am refining your circle. Quality over quantity. Depth over distraction. Alignment over approval. A shift may feel stuck at first, but in time, you will look around and realize that the space created by departure allowed for healthier presence. Trust the pruning. Pruning can look like loss before it looks like fruitfulness. But fruit cannot grow where overcrowding chokes it. You are not losing community. You are gaining clarity. And clarity is the foundation for meaningful connection. My child, as I refine your circle and prune what no longer aligns, understand this: the mission does not shrink when people fall away. It intensifies. When some cannot follow, I raise up those who will fuel the fire. If this word strengthened your boundaries and steadied your heart, then sow into the spreading of this light. Every super thanks, every membership, every PayPal seed, the link rests in the description, becomes oil in the lamp, ensuring that my voice continues reaching souls standing at the edge of their own transformation. Did I not say that when you give, it is given back to you, pressed down and overflowing? I am inviting you now, yes, you, to become a builder of this harvest. What you release becomes a river that carries freedom to someone still drowning in doubt. I will multiply what you place in my hands and guard what concerns you. Do not hesitate, act now, and let your obedience echo in eternity. My child, there has been a quiet narrative running in your mind for years. It has not always been loud. It has not always been obvious. But it has shaped your choices in subtle ways. Lie suggested that this was as good as it gets. It whispered that asking for more was unrealistic. It told you that wanting depth made you demanding. It framed your standards as excessive. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you began lowering your expectations to match that voice. I want you to confront that lie directly now. Do not dance around it. Look at it. Name it. It said you should be grateful for crumbs because at least crumbs were something. It convinced you that partial effort was better than no effort. It framed inconsistency as normal. It told you to be patient with patterns that drained you. That narrative did not originate from me. I do not plant scarcity in your spirit. I do not ask you to accept emotional drought as destiny. You internalize that belief because repeated disappointment can reshape perception. When you encounter the same limitation enough times, you start believing it is universal. But repetition does not equal truth. Just because you experience something repeatedly does not mean it defines your future. I want you to challenge that internal script. When it tells you to settle, question it. When it suggests you are too much, examine the context. Often, You were only too much for those unwilling to grow. There is a difference. I need you to see that clearly. The lie thrived in ambiguity. It thrived in your uncertainty. It gained power each time you ignored your own intuition. But that power is diminishing now. You have started recognizing patterns. You have started noticing how certain dynamics consistently leave you depleted. That awareness weakens the lie. Continue strengthening that awareness. Invite clarity into every decision. Ask yourself whether your choices are driven by fear of losing or by confidence in receiving better. There is a profound difference between the two motivations. Fear contracts. Confidence expands. I am calling you toward expansion. Expansion requires faith that what you desire is not fantasy. It requires trust that your standards are not selfish. It requires courage to believe that you deserve environments that nourish you. I'm not encouraging entitlement. I'm encouraging alignment. You were not created to function in chronic compromise. You were not designed to beg for what should be mutual. The lie tried to convince you that survival was success. But survival without joy is not the life I envisioned for you. Let that sink in. Now I want you to actively dismantle that lie. Do not simply acknowledge it. Replace it. Speak new truths into your internal dialogue. When your mind says, maybe this is the best I can do, counter it with, I am growing, and growth opens new possibilities. When your thoughts suggest that staying comfortable is safer than risking change, remind yourself that comfort without fulfillment becomes confinement. I want you to practice discernment in real time. Notice when you are tempted to minimize your needs. Notice when you downplay your disappointment to avoid conflict. That minimization feeds the lie. Stop feeding it. Instead, feed clarity. Feed honesty. Feed courage. You are not asking for perfection. You are asking for consistency, respect, reciprocity. Those are not extravagant demands. They are healthy expectations. The lie attempted to frame your desire for health as greed. It framed your longing for depth as dissatisfaction. But depth is not dissatisfaction. It is hunger for authenticity. You are allowed to crave authenticity. In fact, that craving is a sign of maturity. I want you to guard your mind carefully now. Lies lose power when exposed, but they attempt to return quietly. Be vigilant, not paranoid, just aware. When you feel yourself slipping back into old rationalizations, pause. Breathe. Ask me for clarity. I will illuminate what is true. Do not rush to accept what barely meets your minimum. Do not convince yourself that scarcity is humility. Scarcity is not humility. Scarcity is limitation. And limitation is not your destiny. I am expanding your vision beyond what you once thought possible. That expansion requires dismantling the belief that you must accept less. Stand firm in that dismantling. You are not behind. You are not unlucky. You are not destined for mediocrity. A lie may have lingered for years, but its hold is loosening. Feel that shift. Lean into it. Let your expectations rise in alignment with your growth. This is not arrogance. It is awakening. And awakening always feels shocking at first because it reveals how long you lived under a smaller narrative. You are stepping out of that narrative now. Stay conscious. Stay courageous. Stay aligned with truth. My child, you have wrestled deeply with the waiting. I have watched you sit in that space where nothing seems to move, where doors remain closed longer than you expected, where answers feel delayed beyond what feels reasonable. You tried to be patient. You tried to tell yourself that good things take time. But beneath that calm exterior, your heart kept asking me honest questions. You wondered if I had forgotten you. You wondered if your prayers were drifting into silence. You wondered if your obedience had gone unnoticed. I saw every one of those thoughts. I heard the quiet sigh when another opportunity passed you by. I noticed the way you braced yourself for disappointment so it would not hurt as much. Waiting has tested you more than any visible trial. It has stretched your trust in ways that public challenges never could. You expected progress to look obvious, measurable, visible. Instead, it felt like standing still while everyone else seemed to advance. That contrast created tension in your spirit. You compared your timeline to others and questioned your pace. You asked whether you missed something, whether you misunderstood my direction. I want you to revisit that season with a different lens now. The delay you experienced was not denial. It was preparation wrapped in patience. There were doors you knocked on that looked promising from your perspective. There were connections that seemed aligned. There were paths that felt logical. But I could see the full terrain ahead, and some of those paths would have led you into exhaustion far greater than what you were already carrying. You interpreted closed doors as rejection. I saw them as redirection. You felt stalled. I was stabilizing you. You felt overlooked. I was overseeing details you could not yet comprehend. The waiting refined you. It strengthened your discernment and deepened your resilience. You learned how to sit with uncertainty without collapsing. That skill will carry you further than immediate gratification ever could. I want you to stop labeling that season as wasted. Nothing about it was wasted. It was formative. It was foundational. It was necessary. Say this quietly to yourself. The waiting was working. Let that phrase settle in your mind. It may surprise you at first, but the waiting shaped your character in ways that instant success never would have. You developed steadiness. You developed self-awareness. You developed a deeper reliance on me rather than on outcomes. That shift matters more than you realize. You were being built internally while you assumed nothing external was happening. And now, as you look back, you can begin to see subtle growth you once overlooked. Now I want you to understand something even more profound. Waiting exposed the areas where you attached your identity to achievement. When progress slowed, your confidence wavered. That reaction revealed how much you had tied your worth to visible movement. I am not criticizing you. I am revealing what was hidden. You believed that forward motion validated your value. So when you stood still, you felt diminished. But your value has never depended on your velocity. It has never depended on your visible success. It has always rested in who you are, not what you accomplish. The waiting forced you to confront that truth. It challenged you to sit with yourself without external affirmation. That discomfort was not punishment. It was purification. It stripped away dependency on applause. It stripped away reliance on comparison. It exposed insecurities you might have carried unnoticed for years. And once exposed, those insecurities could finally be addressed. I want you to thank that season instead of resenting it. Not because it was easy, but because it was effective. It revealed where your trust needed strengthening. It revealed where your motives needed clarifying. It revealed how deeply you desired validation. Those revelations were not accusations. They were invitations. Invitations to grow beyond external measurement. You are not behind schedule. You are not overlooked. You are not stuck. You are being shaped quietly, carefully, intentionally. Now that shaping is bearing fruit in ways you are just beginning to notice. You respond differently to setbacks. You react less impulsively to disappointment. You assess opportunities more thoughtfully. That is growth matured through waiting. Do not rush out of patience now that movement is beginning. Carry the steadiness you developed into the next season. Command your mind to stop romanticizing immediate results. Invite me into your pace. Ask me to align your expectations with my timing. You will discover that what felt slow was actually strategic. What felt silent was actually stabilizing. And what felt empty was actually preparation for fullness. The season of waiting is closing, not because you forced it open, but because it accomplished its purpose. Receive that truth with gratitude rather than regret. My child, something subtle but powerful has been happening within you. Your desires have begun to change. What once captivated you now feels less compelling. Goals that once drove you intensely now feel secondary. You may have interpreted this as confusion at first. You wondered if you were losing ambition. You questioned whether you were becoming indifferent. But what you are experiencing is refinement, not decline. I am reshaping your hunger. I am recalibrating your focus. There was a time when external approval fueled you strongly. Recognition felt like oxygen. Achievement felt like proof that you were progressing. You chased milestones with determination, and there is nothing inherently wrong with ambition. But over time, you began noticing that certain achievements did not satisfy you the way you expected. The excitement faded faster. The applause felt hollow. The reward did not replenish you the way you imagined. That realization unsettled you. It created an internal contrast between what you thought you wanted and what actually nourished you. That contrast is sacred. It is the beginning of alignment. Your appetite is maturing. You are craving substance over spectacle, depth over display, peace over pressure. Those shifts are not accidental. They are intentional recalibrations. I want you to examine your current desires honestly. Ask yourself what truly energizes you now. Notice how your body responds to different possibilities. Does it feel expansive or constricted? Does it feel calm or frantic? Your internal signals have grown more precise. Listen to them. I am guiding you through those sensations. When something that once excited you now leaves you uneasy, do not dismiss that reaction. Investigate it. When an opportunity that once seemed irresistible now feels misaligned, do not force enthusiasm. Respect your evolution. You are not obligated to pursue what no longer resonates. Growth naturally alters taste. Just as a child outgrows certain preferences, you are outgrowing ambitions that were rooted in insecurity rather than calling. That does not mean your previous goals were wrong. They were appropriate for who you were then. But you are not that version anymore. Accept that. Do not cling to outdated aspirations out of pride. Do not pursue paths simply because you announced them publicly once. You are allowed to adjust direction as your clarity increases. Invite me into your desires actively. Say, refine what I crave. Allow me to strip away motivations built on comparison or fear. I am not removing your drive. I am purifying it. I am transforming it from restless striving into intentional pursuit. That transformation may feel quieter. It may look less flashy, but it will feel steadier, stronger, more sustainable. Now consider how this shift impacts your relationships, your work, your habits. When your desires change, your environment often follows. You may find yourself withdrawing from conversations that revolve around status or superficial competition. You may feel less drawn to spaces that prioritize image over integrity. That withdrawal is not arrogance. It is discernment developing. Your spirit is choosing nourishment over noise. I want you to honor that choice. Do not guilt yourself for losing interest in what once entertained you. That loss of interest is growth in motion. It signals that you are seeking fulfillment rather than distraction. Fulfillment requires alignment. Alignment requires honesty. Be honest with yourself about what truly matters now. Write it down if you need to. Speak it out loud. Name the values that are rising to the surface. You might notice that authenticity matters more to you than applause. You might realize that peace ranks higher than popularity. You might feel drawn toward depth in conversations rather than volume in connections. These shifts indicate maturity. They reflect a spirit that has endured enough superficial satisfaction to recognize its emptiness. I am guiding you toward desires that will not collapse under pressure. Desires that will not evaporate after temporary achievement. Desires rooted in purpose rather than performance. Do not fear this refinement. Embrace it. Let it inform your decisions. Let it shape your schedule. Let it influence your priorities. Command yourself not to chase what drains you simply because it once impressed you. Invite me to align your longings with lasting fulfillment. You are not becoming less ambitious. You are becoming more intentional. And intentional ambition is far more powerful than restless striving. The shift in your desires is evidence that you are stepping into a new season. Trust the recalibration. It is not confusion. It is clarity unfolded. My child, there are attachments in your life that formed quietly, almost invisibly. You did not wake up one morning and decide to bind your heart to certain patterns, people, or identities. It happened gradually. You invested time. You invested emotion. You invested hope. And over time, those investments turned into attachments that felt essential to your sense of stability. Some of those attachments were beautiful for a season. Some were survival strategies you developed when you felt uncertain. Others were rooted in fear of losing connection, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. I want you to gently examine these attachments now without condemning yourself for having them. You are human. You bond. You seek belonging. You seek reassurance. That is natural. But not every attachment remains healthy as you grow. Some become anchors that prevent movement. Some become agreements with your past that no longer align with your present identity. You have started feeling that tension. You sense that certain connections no longer feel balanced. You notice how some habits leave you drained instead of strengthened. That awareness is not betrayal. It is awakening. You are not being disloyal by outgrowing what once comforted you. You are being honest about your current needs. I want you to stop equating attachment with love. Attachment can exist without alignment. Love can exist without possession. There is a difference. You held on tightly because you believed letting go would leave you empty. You believed that if you loosened your grip, you would fall into loneliness. But what you did not realize is that some of those attachments were quietly feeding insecurity instead of nourishing confidence. They reinforced old narratives about who you were. They kept you tied to versions of yourself that you have already surpassed. I am asking you to loosen your grip now. Not abruptly, not hurriedly, gradually and intentionally. When you feel the urge to cling, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself whether you are holding on out of love or out of fear. That question will reveal more than you expect. You do not need to sever every bond dramatically, but you do need to recognize which ones restrict your expansion. Release the belief that attachment equals security. Security rooted in fear will always demand control. Security rooted in trust allows freedom. I am guiding you toward freedom. Freedom does not mean isolation. It means connection without captivity. It means presence without possession. It means choosing relationships because they align, not because they reassure your anxiety. Invite me into this evaluation. Say, show me what to loosen. I will. I am not stripping your life of meaning. I am untangling you from unnecessary weight. The breaking of old attachments may feel like loss at first, but it is actually liberation unfolding quietly. Now let me speak to the emotional complexity of this process. When attachments begin to weaken, you might feel unsettled. You might question your loyalty. You might wonder if you are becoming detached or cold. But there is a difference between detachment and discernment. Discernment clarifies direction. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. That clarity may disrupt dynamics that relied on your over-availability. You may notice that when you stop responding immediately, some people react differently. You may observe how certain interactions lose intensity when you no longer feed them with constant energy. That observation is important. It reveals where attachment was sustained by imbalance. I want you to resist the temptation to restore imbalance just to regain familiarity. Do not return to overgiving because silence feels uncomfortable. Do not revive old patterns because distance feels unfamiliar. Sit with the space that forms when attachment loosens. That space is sacred. It allows new connections to form on healthier ground. It allows you to reconnect with yourself without interference. I want you to reestablish a secure attachment within yourself. Become comfortable with your own company. Become grounded in your own rhythm. When you no longer cling out of fear, you relate out of choice. And choice is powerful. It shifts your posture from dependency to dignity. I am strengthening your internal foundation so that your external connections can be balanced rather than desperate. The shift may feel subtle at first. It may not announce itself loudly, but you will notice that you feel steadier when someone pulls away. You will notice that you do not panic as quickly when plans change. You will observe that your mood is less dependent on others' responses. That is growth. Celebrate it quietly. Protect it intentionally. The breaking of old attachments is not the destruction of love. It is the purification of it. You are learning to love without losing yourself. You are learning to connect without clinging. You are learning to stay open without being consumed. That is maturity. That is strength. That is freedom emerging gently in your life. My child, you often underestimate yourself. You focus on your doubts more than your resilience. You remember your hesitations more vividly than your persistence. But I have watched you closely, and I see something in you that you rarely acknowledge: courage. Not loud, dramatic courage that draws applause. Quiet, steady courage that shows up consistently. You think you are barely holding on, yet you continue moving forward. You think you are fragile, yet you endure situations that would have broken a weaker spirit. You do not give yourself credit for the strength you have demonstrated. Let me name it for you. It took courage to admit that something was no longer working. It took courage to question patterns you once defended. It took courage to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it immediately. Those choices were not accidental. They were intentional acts of bravery. You may not have felt brave in the moment. You may have felt scared, uncertain, hesitant. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. You have made that decision more times than you realize. Each time you chose honesty over denial, you exercised courage. Each time you set a boundary even though your voice trembled, you exercised courage. Each time you allowed yourself to feel grief instead of numbing it, you exercised courage. That is not weakness. That is growth. I want you to stand in front of the mirror and recognize that you are not the timid person you once believed yourself to be. You are evolving. You are confronting realities you once avoided. You are facing truth you once suppressed. That requires strength. Do not dismiss it. Do not minimize it. Own it. Say, I am stronger than I thought. Let that statement settle deeply. You have survived disappointments that could have hardened you, yet you remain open. You have experienced rejection that could have silenced you, yet you continue expressing yourself. That is resilience. That is quiet bravery woven into your daily life. I see it even when you do not. I want you to stop defining courage as dramatic gestures. Redefine it as consistent integrity. Redefine it as choosing growth when stagnation feels easier. You are doing that right now. You are allowing endings to happen without forcing outcomes. You are tolerating uncertainty without collapsing into despair. That is courage in motion. Invite yourself to acknowledge it more often. Speak kindly to yourself. Affirm your progress. You are not behind. You are becoming. Now I want you to expand your understanding of this courage. It is not just about enduring pain. It is about embracing possibility. It is about allowing yourself to believe that something better exists beyond what you have known. That belief requires vulnerability. It requires you to risk disappointment again. It requires you to trust that your growth is leading somewhere meaningful. Many people retreat after being hurt. They shrink their expectations. They lower their standards to avoid future pain. You are resisting the temptation. You are still willing to hope. You are still willing to try. That willingness is brave. Do not let cynicism masquerade as wisdom. Protect your capacity to hope. Guard it carefully. Courage also appears when you choose not to chase what is fading. It shows up when you release rather than grasp. It manifests when you say no to what once felt automatic. Those decisions may feel small in isolation, but collectively they represent transformation. I want you to command your mind to recognize progress instead of fixating on flaws. Each time you choose alignment over comfort, you reinforce your strength. Each time you prioritize peace over approval, you deepen your integrity. Notice the moment. Celebrate them quietly. Your oath does not always come with visible trophies. Sometimes it arrives as internal steadiness. You are building that steadiness now. I am proud of you. Not because you have perfected anything, but because you are participating in your own evolution. Continue. Do not retreat. Do not doubt the strength forming within you. The courage you did not realize you had is becoming visible through your choices. Trust it. Nurture it. Let it guide you forward into the next chapter without apology. My child, there were moments when the quiet felt unbearable to you. I remember them clearly. You would pray, you would wait, and then you would listen, and nothing seemed to answer back. No clear sign. No sudden breakthrough. No dramatic reassurance. Just silence. The silence unsettled you more than any obvious struggle ever did. When life is loud with problems, at least you know what you are facing. But when it becomes still, when there is no obvious movement, your mind begins to create stories. You wondered if I had stepped back. You questioned whether I was disappointed in you. You examined your past decisions, trying to identify where you might have gone wrong. You thought perhaps the silence was punishment. I want you to release that belief right now. The quiet you experienced was not abandonment. It was space. It was the clearing of noise so that deeper clarity could surface. When everything around you stopped echoing with distraction, you were left with your own thoughts. That felt uncomfortable because it exposed fears you had buried under busyness. It revealed insecurities that had been masked by constant activity. But that exposure was necessary. Without it, you would have continued moving without reflection. The silence slowed you down. It invited you inward. It forced you to confront yourself honestly. I was not absent in that stillness. I was present in a different way. Instead of overwhelming you with external confirmation, I was strengthening your internal discernment. I wanted you to trust your growth rather than depend on constant reassurance. That shift requires quiet. Noise can entertain you, but silence develops you. Sit with that truth. The next time you encounter stillness, do not rush to fill it. Do not immediately distract yourself. Let it speak. Let it reveal what your heart has been carrying. There is wisdom hidden in the quiet moments you once feared. You thought silence meant stagnation. In reality, it was incubation. Something was forming beneath the surface. Something steady and subtle. You could not see it because you were accustomed to visible movement. But unseen growth is often the most transformative. I want you to revisit those silent seasons without resentment. See them as sacred intervals where your character was being refined. When you felt alone, you were actually being prepared. When you felt overlooked, you were being observed carefully. The silence allowed you to hear your own intuition more clearly. It reduced the external noise that once dictated your choices. That clarity is priceless. Do not dismiss it simply because it arrived quietly. Now let me speak to the fear that surfaced in that silence. You worried that if nothing was happening, you were falling behind. You compared your quiet season to someone else's visible momentum. That comparison intensified your anxiety. But what you did not realize is that visible activity does not always equal meaningful progress. Some people move constantly without direction. Some pursue speed over substance. Your stillness was not emptiness. It was alignment recalibrating. I want you to learn to differentiate between absence of noise and absence of purpose. They are not the same. Purpose can unfold in the quietest moments. I want you to practice sitting with your thoughts without immediately labeling them as threats. When doubt rises, examine it rather than fearing it. When uncertainty appears, invite clarity instead of panic. Command your mind to slow down when it begins constructing worst-case scenarios. Replace assumption with observation. Replace fear with curiosity. Ask yourself what this silence is teaching you. You may discover that it strengthened your patience. You may realize that it reduced your dependency on constant validation. You may notice that it clarified what truly matters to you. Silence often strips away superficial desire. It forces you to evaluate what remains when distraction is removed. That evaluation is invaluable. I am not leading you into a life of constant quiet. There will be seasons of movement, conversation, opportunity. But you must carry the steadiness you learned in silence into those louder seasons. The silence that once scared you is now part of your foundation. It taught you to trust even when you could not see immediate results. It trained you to listen more deeply. It revealed that your worth does not fluctuate with external activity. That realization is powerful. It stabilizes you in ways applause never could. So the next time you encounter stillness, do not interpret it as abandonment. Recognize it as preparation. Recognize it as refinement. Recognize it as a space where your inner voice grows stronger. You are not alone in quiet seasons. You are being shaped in them. My child, you are not who you were a year ago. Even if your surroundings look similar, something within you has shifted. Your reactions have softened in some places and strengthened in others. You tolerate less confusion. You question more honestly. You observe more carefully. These changes may feel subtle, but they are significant. Identity does not transform overnight. You have also been experience of a bit of lack into a bit of choices. You have been making different choices lately. You have been responding instead of reacting. You have been pausing before agreeing automatically. You have been evaluating your own motives with more compassion and more clarity. That is growth shaping identity. You may not have announced this transformation publicly, but it is real. You are less desperate for approval. You are less willing to over-explain yourself. You are more aware of your limits. These adjustments signal maturity. They indicate that you are becoming grounded in who you are rather than who you were expected to be. I want you to embrace this emerging identity without clinging to outdated labels. You are not the insecure version of yourself that once doubted every instinct. You are not the overly accommodating person who feared confrontation. You are not defined by past mistakes. Identity evolves as awareness increases. You have gained awareness. That awareness is reshaping your posture in the world. You may notice that you speak more directly now. You may observe that you require clear communication from others. You may feel less inclined to tolerate ambiguity. That is not rigidity. It is clarity. And clarity is a sign that you are aligning with your authentic self. I want you to protect this emerging identity carefully. Do not allow nostalgia to pull you back into roles you have outgrown. Do not minimize your growth to avoid discomfort in others. When you sense yourself slipping into old patterns, pause and remind yourself how far you have come. Speak to yourself kindly. Affirm your progress. Say, I am evolving. Let that affirmation replace the outdated narratives that once defined you. Identity is not static. It expands as you expand. You are in the middle of that expansion now. Now consider how this new identity influences your future decisions. When you know who you are becoming, your standards shift naturally. You no longer accept treatment that contradicts your values. You no longer chase validation from those who cannot appreciate your depth. You become selective not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. The selectivity may reduce certain options temporarily. It may narrow your circle, but it strengthens your foundation. I want you to choose environments that reflect your growth. Choose conversations that stimulate your curiosity. Choose relationships that respect your boundaries. This requires intentionality. It requires you to say no more often than you once did. Saying no does not make you selfish. It makes you focused. It protects your energy for what truly matters. The identity emerging within you is not fragile. It is forming through resilience. It is grounded in experience. It has been shaped by lessons you did not choose but endured anyway. That endurance carved strength into you. I want you to honor that strength. Do not downplay it. Do not pretend you are unchanged just to keep others comfortable. You have changed. You have matured. You have refined your perspective. That refinement deserves respect, especially from you. Command yourself to walk in alignment with this new identity. When old doubts whisper, confront them gently, but firmly. When past insecurities attempt to resurface, remind yourself that you have grown beyond them. Invite me into your self-perception. Ask me to confirm the truth about who you are becoming. I will. I see the steady confidence forming in you. I see the balanced strength replacing old anxiety. I see the quiet assurance that does not need external applause. This identity is not performative. It is authentic. It is rooted in lived experience. It is emerging naturally, not forced. Trust it. Nurture it. Step into it fully. The person you are becoming is not an accident. It is the result of every lesson, every waiting season, every boundary set, every attachment released. You are evolving into someone steady, self-aware, and aligned. Walk forward as that person. My child, as your identity emerges and you step into clarity, know this: those who recognize who they are also recognize what they are called to build. The person you are becoming does not consume truth silently. They invest in its expansion. When you support this message through super thanks, membership, or by sowing through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seeds into soil that yields transformed hearts. I have said that those who water others will themselves be watered, and that promise breathes over you now. Let your giving reflect your new identity, steady, intentional, aligned. This is not charity, this is commissioning. You are helping carry my word like fire across dry ground, igniting courage where fear once ruled. I will bless the work of your hands and cause favor to surround you as you partner in this harvest. Step forward in generosity now. Confirm who you are becoming by what you build with me. My child, I want to speak directly to the voice that has followed you for years. The one that questioned your decisions before you even made them. The one that replayed your mistakes at night. The one that told you to hesitate, to shrink back, to stay quiet just in case you were wrong. Self-doubt has been loud in your mind, sometimes louder than truth. It has sounded reasonable. It has sounded protective. It has even sounded humble. But it has also limited you. It has caused you to second-guess instincts that were actually aligned. It has made you overanalyze simple choices. It has turned minor missteps into imagined catastrophes. I have watched you wrestle with that internal critic. I have seen how it slowed you down, how it made you question whether you were capable, whether you were worthy, whether you were ready. And yet, despite its presence, you kept moving. That is important. Even while doubting yourself, you still showed up. Even while questioning your abilities, you still tried. That reveals something powerful. Self-doubt did not stop you completely. It merely accompanied you. And now, something is shifting. You are beginning to notice that voice without automatically believing it. You are starting to challenge its assumptions. When it tells you that you are not enough, you pause instead of surrendering. When it suggests you will fail, you consider the evidence instead of accepting the conclusion. That pause is growth. That questioning is strength. I want you to strengthen that pause intentionally. Do not silence your thoughts aggressively. Examine them calmly. Ask yourself whether the doubt is rooted in fact or in fear. Often, you will discover that it is fear masquerading as logic. You have accumulated experiences that contradict the narrative of inadequacy. You have survived challenges that once felt impossible. You have adapted to circumstances that required resilience. Remind yourself of those truths. Write them down if necessary. Speak them aloud. Say, I have handled difficult things before. Let that statement counter the exaggeration of your fears. Self-doubt thrives on selective memory. It highlights failures and minimizes growth. You must consciously rebalance that perspective. I am not asking you to become overconfident or dismissive of feedback. Healthy reflection is valuable. But there is a difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection learns. Rumination loops. You have spent enough time looping. It is time to learn and move. Command your mind gently, but firmly when it begins spiraling. Redirect your focus toward evidence of progress. You are not the inexperienced person you once were. You have accumulated wisdom through lived experience. Trust that accumulation. Trust that growth. The end of self-doubt does not mean the absence of questions. It means the presence of balanced self-trust. You are developing that balance now. Now let me guide you deeper into this shift. Self-doubt often attaches itself to your desire for perfection. You believed that if you could eliminate mistakes, you would eliminate criticism. But perfection is an illusion that constantly moves the goalpost. No matter how well you performed, there was always another standard to meet. That pursuit exhausted you. It made you cautious when boldness was required. It made you over-prepare when simplicity would have sufficed. I want you to release the belief that your worth depends on flawless execution. Mistakes are not indictments of your character. They are information. They reveal areas for adjustment. They do not define your capacity. When you allow room for imperfection, you create space for growth. That space reduces anxiety. It allows you to take measured risks without catastrophic thinking. You are not fragile. You are adaptable. You are not incompetent. You are learning. Those distinctions matter. Self-doubt attempted to compress your identity into a narrow narrative. It told you that one misstep invalidated progress. But progress is cumulative, is built through consistent effort, not perfect performance. I want you to observe how your confidence has already strengthened in subtle ways. You speak more directly than you once did. You recover from disappointment faster. You consider opportunities with curiosity rather than immediate fear. These are indicators that self-doubt is losing dominance. Strengthen those indicators. Affirm your competence quietly. Do not wait for external validation to confirm your growth. Internal acknowledgement is powerful. Invite me into moments when hesitation surfaces. Say, "Help me see clearly." I will. I am not interested in inflating your ego. I am interested in grounding your confidence. Confidence grounded in reality is stable. It does not crumble at criticism. It does not collapse under pressure. It adjusts. It recalibrates. It continues. That is the confidence forming within you. You may still feel uncertainty occasionally. That is human. But uncertainty no longer dictates your identity. You are capable of navigating ambiguity without dissolving into self-criticism. That is maturity. That is resilience. That is the quiet end of self-doubt taking place in your life. My child, there is a relationship in your life that influences every other connection, every decision, every reaction. It is the relationship you have with yourself. For years, you have been kinder to others than to your own heart. You extended patience outward while withholding it inward. You forgave others quickly but replayed your own mistakes repeatedly. You offered encouragement generously but spoke to yourself with sharp scrutiny. I have observed this imbalance. I have seen how you minimized your achievements while amplifying your flaws. That pattern did not arise from cruelty. It developed from conditioning. You believed that self-criticism would keep you disciplined. You assumed that being hard on yourself would prevent complacency. But constant internal hardness erodes confidence. It creates tension. It cultivates anxiety. I want you to examine how you speak to yourself privately. Notice the tone. Notice the language. Would you speak to someone you love in the same way? If not, why do you allow it toward yourself? You deserve the same compassion you extend to others. This is not indulgence. It is balance. When you make a mistake, respond with correction rather than condemnation. When you fall short, respond with curiosity rather than contempt. Replace internal hostility with internal honesty. Honesty acknowledges error without attacking identity. I want you to practice that shift deliberately. The way you relate to yourself shapes your tolerance for how others treat you. If you constantly criticize yourself, you may accept criticism from others more readily. If you minimize your needs internally, you may allow them to be minimized externally. Strengthening your relationship with yourself raises your standards organically. It fosters clarity. It nurtures self-respect. I am not encouraging selfishness. I am encouraging stability. A stable internal relationship reduces dependency on external approval. It allows you to move through the world with grounded assurance. I want you to look at yourself with gentleness. Not because you are perfect, but because you are human. You are learning. You are evolving. You are adapting. That deserves acknowledgement. Command yourself to pause when self-criticism intensifies. Replace it with measured evaluation. Ask, what can I learn here? Instead of what is wrong with me. That subtle shift changes your internal climate significantly. Now consider how this improved relationship with yourself influences your daily choices. When you respect yourself, you choose environments that align with your values. When you honor your energy, you set boundaries without excessive guilt. When you trust your intuition, you make decisions with steadiness rather than panic. These behaviors stem from internal alignment. You cannot consistently demand respect from others if you neglect self-respect internally. I want you to cultivate inner dialogue that supports growth. Encourage yourself when progress occurs. Celebrate small victories. Acknowledge effort, not just outcome. This practice strengthens resilience. It reduces the emotional volatility that arises from perfectionism. It allows you to recover more quickly from setbacks. You are not your worst day. You are not defined by isolated mistakes. You are a collection of experiences, lessons, adjustments, and growth. Speak to yourself accordingly. Invite me into your self-perception regularly. Ask me to reveal truth when self-judgment distorts reality. I will remind you of your strengths. I will highlight your progress. I will recalibrate your perspective when it drifts toward negativity. Your internal relationship sets the tone for your external life. Strengthen it intentionally. Treat yourself with the same fairness you offer others. Hold yourself accountable without hostility. Support yourself without indulgence. This balanced relationship will anchor you as you continue evolving. You are not at war with yourself anymore. You are learning to stand beside yourself. That shift is powerful. It influences every connection, every opportunity, every challenge. Protect it. Nurture it. Build upon it. Your relationship with yourself is becoming a source of stability rather than strain. The transformation will echo through every area of your life. My child, I want you to be honest about something you do not always admit out loud. You are not afraid of growth itself. You are afraid of what you cannot see. You are afraid of stepping into territory without a map. You are afraid of releasing what is familiar before you fully understand what is replacing it. That fear is not weakness. It is human. But you must not let it rule you. You have already come too far to retreat into comfort simply because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. Right now, you are standing at the edge of something new. You sense it. You feel the ground shifting beneath you. What once felt predictable no longer satisfies you. What once gave you a sense of control now feels restrictive. And yet, the unknown ahead feels like fog. You cannot see every step. You cannot guarantee every outcome. That lack of clarity makes your mind restless. It wants assurance. It wants guarantees. It wants a clear, clean, confirmed plan. But growth rarely offers that kind of certainty. Growth invites trust. And trust feels risky when you have been hurt before. I know you have learned to be cautious. I know you have trained yourself to anticipate disappointment. That anticipation once protected you. But now it threatens to confine you. I want you to recognize the exaggeration your fear produces. It paints the unknown as catastrophic. It whispers worst-case scenarios. It suggests that if you step forward and something goes wrong, you will not recover. That is not truth. That is anxiety magnified. You have recovered before. You have adapted before. You have rebuilt before. Do not forget your resilience just because the future is unclear. I want you to take a breath right now. Slow your thoughts deliberately. Say to yourself, uncertainty does not equal danger. Let that statement settle. The unknown is not automatically a threat. It is possibility. It is potential. It is expansion waiting to unfold. You are not being pushed into chaos. You are being guided into growth. There is a difference. Do not allow your imagination to transform unfamiliarity into doom. Challenge those assumptions gently but firmly. Ask yourself what evidence supports your fear. Often, you will find that it is based on past pain rather than present reality. You are not the same person who experienced that pain. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are more discerning now. That growth equips you to handle what comes next. Command your mind to remember that. Do not let old wounds dictate new decisions. Invite me into your uncertainty. Say, walk with me into this. I'm already there. I am not leading you somewhere I have not prepared. You do not need full visibility to take the next step. You only need enough clarity for the step in front of you. Trust the progression. Do not demand the entire blueprint before you move. Courage in this season looks like measured movement, not reckless leaps. Take one step, then reassess, then take another. That is how you move through the unknown without losing yourself. Now let me speak to the deeper layer of this fear. You have associated uncertainty with instability because in your past, unpredictability often brought pain. When situations shifted unexpectedly, you felt powerless. That memory lingers in your nervous system. It reacts quickly when things feel unfamiliar. I want you to separate past unpredictability from present opportunity. They are not the same. The unknown ahead of you is not the chaos you once endured. It is not random. It is not reckless. It is intentional. The discomfort you feel now is the stretch of expansion, not the sting of collapse. There is a difference between falling apart and growing forward. You are growing forward. Your fear is trying to protect you from imagined disaster. Thank it for its intention, then gently correct it. Say, I am safe to grow. Growth may involve risk, but it does not equal ruin. You are not walking alone into this new chapter. You are stepping forward with experience behind you and clarity forming within you. Let that truth steady you. When your mind begins racing ahead, pull it back to the present moment. Focus on what you can control. Focus on your next decision. Focus on your current alignment. The future does not require panic. It requires presence. I want you to practice presence deliberately. When anxiety rises, ground yourself physically. Breathe deeply. Feel your feet on the floor. Remind yourself that you are here, safe, capable. Then make the next aligned choice. You do not need to eliminate fear completely. You need to refuse to let it dominate. There is strength in choosing forward movement despite internal tremors. That is the courage you have been building all along. You are not fragile. You are adaptable. You are not unprepared. You are evolving. The unknown is not a cliff waiting to drop you. It is a field waiting for you to walk into it. Do not retreat to the cage of familiarity just because it feels predictable. Predictability without growth becomes confinement. Step forward. Invite possibility. Trust your preparation. The fear of the unknown is dissolving as you realize you are more capable than your anxiety suggests. My child, there were moments when I nudged you in a different direction, and you resisted. Not out of rebellion, but out of attachment. You had invested so much energy into a particular path that stepping away felt like admitting defeat. You worked hard. You tried repeatedly. You told yourself that persistence would eventually produce the outcome you wanted. There is strength in persistence, but there is also wisdom in redirection. You struggled to discern the difference. You asked yourself whether you were giving up too soon or holding on too long. And tension weighed on you. It created an internal conflict. You questioned your discernment. You doubted your instincts. But let me tell you something clearly. Not every closed door is a challenge to overcome. Some are boundaries meant to protect you. You interpreted certain obstacles as tests of endurance. You thought that if you pushed harder, forced more, explained better, something would finally align. Sometimes persistence is appropriate. Other times it becomes pressure. I was gently redirecting you away from paths that would have drained you long term. You felt that redirection as frustration. You labeled it as delay. You wrestled with it because it disrupted your plans. But I was not blocking you to punish you. I was redirecting you to preserve you. A distinction matters. I want you to revisit the paths you fought hardest for. Notice how they made you feel. Did they energize you or exhaust you? Did they align naturally or require constant justification? Redirection often feels like loss at first because it dismantles expectation. But what if it was deliverance instead? What if the thing you fought for would have confined you? I want you to release the narrative that redirection equals failure. It does not. It equals adjustment. It equals refinement. It equals course correction toward alignment. When you sense friction that does not resolve despite consistent effort, pause. Do not immediately escalate your effort. Evaluate whether the friction is signaling misalignment. You are not meant to force every door open. Some doors are not locked. They are simply not yours. Command yourself to discern rather than dominate. Ask, is this resistance shaping me or steering me? There is a difference. Shaping resistance strengthens character. Steering resistance redirects direction. Learn to identify which is present. Invite me into that evaluation. I will clarify what is obstacle and what is boundary. You do not need to fight every battle. You need to choose wisely. Now consider how redirection has already benefited you, even if you did not recognize it at the time. There were opportunities you missed that later revealed hidden complications. There were relationships that ended before they entangled you further. There were plans that collapsed before they consumed your energy entirely. At the time, you experienced disappointment. You felt confusion. You wondered what you did wrong. But in hindsight, you can see hints of protection woven into those outcomes. That is redirection at work. It rarely announces itself as mercy in the moment. It often feels like rejection. But rejection and redirection are not identical. Rejection attacks identity. Redirection adjusts trajectory. Your identity has never been diminished by a closed door. Your direction has simply been refined. I want you to become more receptive to subtle guidance. When something consistently resists alignment despite your honest effort, consider whether it is time to pivot. Pivoting is not quitting. It is responding intelligently to new information. You have gained information through experience. Use it. Trust it. Do not cling to outdated plans out of pride. Pride can masquerade as determination. But healthy determination includes flexibility. You are allowed to change course when clarity increases. You are allowed to outgrow former ambitions. You are allowed to revise your goals. That does not make you inconsistent. It makes you adaptive. Invite me into every major decision. Say, guide my direction. Then pay attention to how your spirit responds. Does it feel constricted or calm? Does it feel heavy or expansive? Those signals matter. Redirection is not a punishment. It is precision. It fine-tunes your path toward what truly aligns with your evolving identity. Stop resisting it out of fear of embarrassment. Stop equating change with weakness. The path ahead will not always be linear. It will be intentional. Trust the turns. Trust the pauses. Trust the reroutes. They are not random. They are refining you. The redirection you once resisted is becoming the guidance you now appreciate. Embrace it fully. Walk forward without regret. My child, something steady is being built beneath you, even if you cannot yet see the full structure. For a long time, you built your life on what felt urgent. You responded to pressure. You reacted to expectations. You made decisions based on who needed you, who noticed you, who validated you. That foundation held for a while, but it required constant maintenance. It depended on external reactions. It shifted when others shifted. It cracked when circumstances changed. I watched you try to stabilize it with effort, with overthinking, with self-correction. You kept adjusting yourself to keep everything upright. That is exhausting. That is unstable. And now, I am rebuilding from the ground up. This new foundation is not based on performance. It is based on alignment. It is not constructed from urgency. It is constructed from intention. There is a difference. Urgency rushes. Intention anchors. I want you to feel the difference in your body. When you make choices from urgency, your chest tightens. Your thoughts race. You feel pressure. When you choose from intention, your breath steadies. Your mind clears. There is a quiet confidence that does not need applause. That is the foundation I am strengthening in you. It will not collapse under criticism. It will not crumble when plans change. It will not require constant reassurance to remain upright. You are learning to evaluate opportunities through clarity rather than panic. You are learning to respond to conflict without losing yourself. You are learning to build relationships on mutual respect rather than emotional dependency. That is foundational work. It may not look dramatic. It may not generate visible excitement. But it creates stability that lasts. I want you to protect this rebuilding process. Do not rush it because you crave quick results. Foundations take time. They require patience. They require careful assessment. If you rush construction, cracks form later. So slow down. Let the structure form deliberately. Ask yourself whether each decision aligns with who you are becoming. If it does not, adjust. Do not force it to fit. This foundation is built on truth, not on convenience. It is built on honesty, not on image. It is built on peace, not on pressure. Say that to yourself, peace over pressure. Let it guide you. When you feel tempted to return to frantic striving, pause. Ask whether that urgency aligns with your new base. If it does not, step back. Real stability feels calm. It does not need to prove itself loudly. You are being anchored in that calm now. Now consider how this foundation will influence your future. When storms come, and they will, you will not react the way you once did. You will not spiral into self-doubt immediately. You will not abandon your standards to avoid discomfort. You will stand. That steadiness is forming in you right now. It is subtle but strong. It shows up in the way you decline what no longer aligns. It shows up in the way you reflect before reacting. It shows up in the way you value your peace more than external approval. These shifts are not accidental. They are structural. You are not patching cracks anymore. You are reinforcing the base. I want you to visualize this clearly. Imagine your life as a house that once leaned slightly because its footing was uneven. You kept decorating the interior, hoping the instability would go unnoticed. But decoration does not correct imbalance. Foundation does. That is what is happening now. I am correcting the imbalance beneath the surface. It may feel like demolition at times. Old assumptions are being dismantled. Outdated priorities are being removed. But demolition precedes construction. Do not panic when something falls away. Ask whether it belonged to the unstable structure or to the new one forming. Trust the process. Command your impatience to settle. Invite steadiness to take root. The new foundation will support relationships that do not drain you. It will support goals that align with your values. It will support peace that does not depend on perfection. You are not building for applause. You are building for longevity. That distinction matters. Wizard says income of vivid. Steady growth endures. Stay committed to steadiness. Protect your alignment. Choose intention over impulse. The new foundation beneath you is stronger than you realize. It will hold you when life tests you. It will anchor you when emotions surge. It will remind you who you are when confusion attempts to return. Trust it. Build upon it. Walk confidently upon it. My child, comparison has been one of the quiet thieves in your life. It has stolen joy from moments that should have felt fulfilling. It has whispered that you are behind. It has suggested that your pace is inadequate. It has made you measure your progress against timelines that were never designed for you. I have watched you scroll through others' achievements and feel a subtle sting. I have seen how quickly your mind calculated where you should be by now. Comparison often disguises itself as motivation, but it frequently breeds dissatisfaction instead. It distorts perception. It exaggerates others' success while minimizing your own growth. I want you to confront this pattern directly. Your journey is not identical to anyone else's. Your starting point was different. Your lessons were different. Your strengths and limitations are unique. So why would your timeline mirror someone else's? That expectation is unrealistic. And yet, you have held yourself to it repeatedly. You have looked at peers and wondered why they seem further ahead. You have questioned whether you missed an opportunity, whether you made a wrong turn, whether you should have moved faster. That internal interrogation drains energy that could be invested in your own path. I want you to release the need to compete with lives you only partially understand. You see highlights, not full histories. You see outcomes, not struggles. You see celebration, not sacrifice. Comparison thrives on incomplete information. It constructs narratives without context. Do not allow it to dictate your self-worth. When you catch yourself measuring your progress against someone else's, pause deliberately. Ask yourself whether that comparison is constructive or corrosive. Most often, it is corrosive. It erodes gratitude. It fosters impatience. It distracts from your own development. You are not in a race. You are in a process. That process is customized. It is shaped by your experiences, your growth rate, your lessons. I want you to respect your process. Respect does not mean complacency. It means alignment. It means understanding that speed does not equal success. Some people move quickly and burn out. Others move steadily and sustain growth. Which would you prefer? Let that question settle. Choose sustainability over spectacle. Choose depth over display. Choose alignment over applause. Comparison tempts you to chase visibility. But visibility without stability is fragile. You are building stability. That requires patience. Release the urgency to match someone else's timeline. It was never yours to begin with. Now let me speak to the deeper root of comparison. At its core, Comparison often reflects insecurity about your own value. When you feel confident in your path, you do not need to measure it against others. When you trust your direction, you do not feel threatened by someone else's progress. So instead of simply resisting comparison, strengthen your self-trust. Remind yourself of the progress you have made. Acknowledge the lessons you have learned. Celebrate the resilience you have developed. You have grown in ways that are not always visible externally. Emotional maturity does not trend publicly. Discernment does not announce itself loudly. Patience does not gather applause. But these qualities matter deeply. They create stability that outlasts fleeting recognition. I want you to cultivate gratitude intentionally. Each time comparison arises, counter it with appreciation for your own journey. List your strengths. Recall your victories. Recognize your endurance. This practice recalibrates perspective. It shifts focus from scarcity to abundance. You are not lacking. You are evolving. And evolution does not follow identical timelines. Invite me into moments when envy surfaces. Say, align my heart. I will redirect your focus toward what is uniquely yours. You do not need to diminish someone else to validate yourself. Your success does not reduce your potential. There is room for growth without competition. There is space for your development without rivalry. Command yourself to celebrate others without self-condemnation. That is maturity. That is freedom. When you release comparison, you reclaim mental space. You reclaim emotional energy. You reclaim clarity. You begin making decisions based on your values rather than on external benchmarks. That shift strengthens your foundation. It aligns with the identity emerging within you. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not less. You are on a path shaped by intention, growth, and resilience. Walk it without looking sideways. Walk it with confidence. Walk it knowing that your timing is not inferior. It is individualized. The release of comparison frees you to focus fully on becoming who you are meant to be. And that focus will carry you further than any race ever could. My child, you have been bracing yourself for so long that you forgot what it feels like to rest without preparing for impact. You learned to anticipate disruption. You learned to scan for subtle changes in tone, in energy, in circumstance. That constant vigilance kept you alert, but it also kept you tense. Even in moments that should have felt calm, a part of you stayed guarded. You did not fully relax because experience taught you that stability could shift without warning. I understand why you developed that habit. It was not foolish. It was protective. But you are not in the same season anymore. You are not surrounded by the same pressures. And you are not the same person who once felt powerless. The peace that is coming to you now is different from temporary relief. It is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of steadiness within you. It is the realization that you no longer need to fight every battle internally. You have been practicing alignment, and alignment produces calm. You have been releasing comparison, and comparison once fueled anxiety. You have been strengthening your relationship with yourself, and that reduces inner conflict. All of these shifts are converging into something tangible. You may not feel it fully yet, but it is forming. It will show up in the way you handle delays without spiraling. It will appear in the way you respond to criticism without collapsing. It will settle into your body as a relaxed breath rather than a clenched jaw. I want you to expect this peace. Do not approach it with suspicion. Do not assume that calm must precede chaos. That belief kept you in survival mode. Challenge it now. Say to yourself, I am allowed to experience sustained peace. Let that statement rewire your expectation. You are not waiting for the next disaster. You are stepping into stability that does not depend on constant control. Peace grows when you stop resisting what is ending. You have been learning to release without panic. That skill invites calm. When you no longer cling desperately to outcomes, you free yourself from constant tension. I want you to notice the small moments of ease already appearing. The conversation that did not escalate. The opportunity you evaluated without rushing. The boundary you set without guilt. These are signs. Do not overlook them. Peace does not always arrive dramatically. It often unfolds quietly through consistent alignment. Continue choosing clarity. Continue protecting your energy. Continue inviting steadiness into your decisions. The peace you crave is not outside of you. It is emerging within you. Nurture it. Protect it. Allow it to deepen. Now let me guide you into how this peace will transform your interactions. When you are no longer internally chaotic, you do not engage in external chaos the same way. You become less reactive. You listen more attentively. You speak more deliberately. The composure changes dynamics. People will sense it. Some will respect it. Some may test it. Maintain it regardless. Do not surrender your calm to prove a point. Do not escalate simply because someone else is loud. Your steadiness is strength. It does not require volume. It requires consistency. Practice grounding yourself when tension arises. Breathe intentionally. Lower your shoulders. Slow your response. This is not passivity. It is control over your own energy. You have more influence over your internal state than you once believed. That realization empowers you. Peace also changes how you approach the future. You no longer need every detail mapped out to feel secure. You can move forward with measured confidence. That does not mean you ignore preparation. It means you release panic. Panic clouds the judgment. Peace sharpens it. I want you to carry this calm into your next decisions. When faced with uncertainty, ask yourself which choice aligns with your steady self rather than your anxious self. Choose from steadiness. Let that become your default. You have earned this peace through growth, through reflection, through courage. It is not accidental. It is cultivated, and it will continue to expand as you protect it. Guard your boundaries. Limit exposure to unnecessary drama. Invest in conversations that nourish rather than drain. Peace thrives in intentional environments. Create those environments deliberately. The season ahead will not be defined by constant upheaval. It will be characterized by grounded movement. You will still encounter challenges, but you will not be consumed by them. That is the difference. The peace that is coming is not fragile. It is fluid. It is stable. It is yours to steward wisely. My child, we have walked through many layers together, and now I want to bring clarity to the heart of it all. When I said, "It's over," I was not announcing your defeat. I was declaring the conclusion of what no longer serves your growth. It is over for the constant negotiation with your own worth. It is over for believing that loss equals abandonment. It is over for interpreting every setback as personal failure. You have carried those interpretations long enough. They shaped your reactions. They influenced your expectations. They distorted your perception of my presence in your life. But that narrative has reached its end. You are no longer the person who interprets delay as desertion. You are no longer the person who equates rejection with inadequacy. You are seeing more clearly now. You are recognizing patterns. You are responding rather than reacting. That shift marks the true ending. It is over for the mindset that kept you small. It is over for the fear that told you expansion was dangerous. It is over for the internal dialogue that constantly predicted disappointment. You have outgrown those lenses. They do not fit your current awareness. And awareness changes everything. I want you to reflect on how differently you interpret events now compared to before. When something does not go your way, you evaluate rather than collapse. When someone withdraws, you assess alignment rather than assume unworthiness. That is transformation. It may not be flashy, but it is profound. I want you to internalize this ending fully. Do not revisit outdated narratives for comfort. Do not romanticize old mindsets simply because they are familiar. They limit you. They confined you. They misrepresented your strength. It is time to let them remain in the past. Speak this truth aloud if you need to. That chapter is finished. Let your body feel the finality. You are not returning to that internal prison. You are not re-entering that cycle of self-sabotage. The end has already occurred. Now you must walk forward in alignment with it. That requires consistency. It requires vigilance. It requires choosing new responses repeatedly until they become natural. You are capable of that. You have already demonstrated it. The shock you initially felt was simply the realization that you cannot go back. You would not even fit in your former mindset comfortably now. That discomfort is confirmation of growth. Accept it. Embrace it. Now I want you to look ahead without dread. If it is over for insecurity dominating your decisions, then what begins? Confidence rooted in clarity. If it is over for fear dictating your choices, then what begins? Courage guided by discernment. If it is over for survival mode defining your identity, then what begins? Stability grounded in self-awareness. You are stepping into a chapter where you move deliberately rather than defensively. That does not mean life will become effortless. It means you will approach it differently. Your posture has changed. You stand straighter internally. You evaluate rather than assume. You breathe rather than brace. That shift is powerful. Guard it. Protect it from old triggers that attempt to pull you backward. When familiar doubts resurface, recognize them without re-engaging. Say, the pattern is over. Then redirect your focus. Invite me into your forward movement. Ask me to reinforce your new perspective. I will. You are not navigating this alone. The ending you feared was actually liberation. It was the release of weight you had normalized. Now you feel lighter, even if uncertainty still exists. That lightness is evidence of alignment. Continue walking in that direction. Do not look back with longing. Look back with gratitude for lessons learned. The true truth revealed in this journey is simple but powerful. What ended was not your opportunity. It was your limitation. And what is beginning is not chaos. It is clarity lived out consistently. You are ready. Step forward with steadiness. Step forward with awareness. Step forward knowing that the chapter that kept you confined has closed completely. My child, now that you understand what it is truly over for, limitation, fear, and the smallness that once confined you, step into what begins. It is time for courage to move, not just contemplate. If this revelation broke chains in your mind, then help me break chains for others by supporting this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link waiting in the description. When you sow into this work, you are not funding a video. You are fueling a lighthouse in dark places. I declared that the old chapter is finished. Now let your action prove it. The harvest is ready, and your seed becomes bread for the hungry and light for the searching. As you give, I will cause provision to pursue you and peace to guard you. This is your moment of alignment. Do not scroll past it. Act now, and let what is over remain over as you build what is eternal. And once you have taken that step, let your heart become still for a moment. A chapter truly ends not in noise, but in the quiet certainty that something has shifted. What you have aligned yourself with is already breaking walls you once thought would stand forever. This is the space where action meets realization, where faith settles into truth. So listen closely now, because what I am about to say will confirm what your spirit has already begun to sense. My child, listen to the sound of my voice right now and let it settle deep into your bones. I am here, standing in this moment with you, and I have something to tell you that will change everything. You have been carrying a heavy weight for so long, years of regret, cycles of struggle, and that nagging feeling that you are stuck in a cage with no key. But I am looking you in the eyes today to tell you, it is over. I want you to say those words out loud with me. It is over. I am not talking about your life ending, and I am not talking about your dreams fading away. I am talking about the end of your captivity. I am declaring a final, absolute stop to the chains of your past that have kept you from walking into the light I created for you. Pause for a second. Breathe. Feel the tension in your shoulders and just let it drop. You have been living like a prisoner who doesn't realize the doors have been kicked wide open. 2,000 years ago, I won a legal victory for you on the cross that cannot be overturned by any judge, any boss, any debt, or any mistake. I signed your release papers in blood, and today, I am hand-delivering them to your heart. You don't have to earn this freedom, and you don't have to work your way out of the cell. I have already done the hard work. Your job is to believe me. Your job is to stop listening to the roar of the enemy who whispers that you are still a slave. That voice is a lie. My voice is the only one that matters, and my voice says you are free. I see you standing at the edge of the desert. You are tired of the sand, tired of the heat, and tired of wandering in circles. You have looked at the promised land from a distance for years, wondering if it was ever really meant for you. I am telling you today to take the first step forward. This ending, this it is over moment, is a requirement for your promotion. You cannot walk into the new thing I have for you while you are still clutching the old rags of your captivity. You have to let go. I am commanding you right now to leave the grave clothes behind. Stop identifying yourself by your trauma. Stop introducing yourself by your failures. Those things are dead, and I am the God of the living. I want you to realize that the struggle you are in right now is actually the birth pangs of your breakthrough. I am shifting the atmosphere around you. I am moving people out of your way who tried to hold you back, and I am opening doors that no human hand can shut. You are in a moment of transition, a divine threshold moment. Do not look back at the Egypt you left behind. Do not long for the comfort of your chains just because they felt familiar. I am taking you to a place of milk and honey, a place of peace and power. You are my heir. You are my beloved. I have watched you cry in the middle of the night, and I have heard every whispered prayer you thought went ignored. None of them were lost. I was just waiting for this exact moment to reveal the truth to you. Accept this truth today. I am your Father, and I love you with a passion that the world cannot comprehend. I am not a distant God watching from a cloud. I am right here in the room with you, breaking every shackle with my own hands. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are a victor through my grace. Walk out of that prison now. Don't look back. Don't hesitate. The sun is rising on a new day, and in this new day, you walk in liberty. I am making all things new, and it starts with this proclamation: your captivity is finished. My child, look at me and listen closely, because I want to reach into those dark corners of your mind where worry has built its nest. I see the way your chest tightens when you think about tomorrow. I hear the rapid beat of your heart when you look at your bank account, or when you wonder if your children will be okay in this broken world. I am intimately aware of that heavy, cold knot in your stomach, the one that tells you something bad is just around the corner, waiting to strike. I am here to tell you, it is over for the spirit of fear in your life. I do not give you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Any voice telling you to be afraid is not my voice. It is a thief trying to steal your sleep, your health, and your joy. I am commanding that spirit to pack its bags and leave your house today. Pause right now. Take a deep, slow breath. Can you feel the air filling your lungs? I gave you that breath. I am the sustainer of your very life, and I am telling you to relax into my arms. You have been paralyzed by the what-ifs for far too long. What if I lose my job? What if the sickness comes back? What if I end up alone? I want you to replace every what if with the truth of I am. When the enemy says, what if you fail? I say, I am your success. When the shadow whispers, what if you are abandoned? I say, I am with you always. Fear is a liar that uses your imagination to create a future where I am absent. But there is no future where I am not already standing, preparing the way for you. I am the light of truth, and when I enter the room, the shadows of dread must dissolve. They have no choice. I am inviting you to reclaim the mind of Christ today. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. That is my job. I am your shield and your great reward. Think of fear like a heavy, rusted chain you've been dragging behind you. It makes every step feel like a chore. It makes the path feel longer than it is. I am snapping that chain right now. I am giving you a boldness that the world cannot understand, a quiet, steady confidence that doesn't depend on your circumstances, but on my character. You don't have to be afraid of bad news because your heart is fixed, trusting in me. Command your soul to be still. Tell your mind that the season of panic is finished. You are moving from a place of fighting for peace to resting in peace. I am building a wall of fire around you that no anxiety can penetrate. I see the pressure you feel at work, the unspoken tensions in your home, and the feeling that you are constantly under attack. Believe me when I say, the enemy you see today you shall see no more. I am silencing the roar of the lion. I am calming the storm inside your head. Step out of the boat of your worries and walk on the water with me. Your focus is no longer on the waves, but on my face. In my presence, there is fullness of joy, and in my love there is no room for fear. Perfect love casts out all dread, and my child, I love you perfectly. My precious one, come closer. I want to talk to you about the things you try to hide from me, the memories that make you wince in the dark, the choices you wish you could go back and erase. You carry your past like a bag of jagged stones, letting them cut into your hands every single day. You think that because you messed up, I have changed my mind about you. You think your failures have disqualified you from the greatness I planned for your life. But here is the shocking truth that I want to sink deep into your soul. I no longer remember what you cannot forget. When I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. I don't see the person who walked away, or the one who lied, or the one who fell. I see my child, washed clean and made brand new. My mercy is not a limited resource that runs out when you have a bad day. It is new every single morning, as fresh as the sunrise hitting the dew on the grass. You wake up every day with a clean slate, yet you keep trying to write your old sins back onto it. Stop doing that. I am commanding you to let go of the shame. Shame is a prison that I have already unlocked. The blood I shed speaks better things than your failures. It speaks of redemption, of a second chance, and a third and 100th. I am the God of the turnaround. I take the very things the enemy meant for your destruction, and I use them as the raw material for your miracle. Your scars are not signs of shame. They are symbols of victory. They prove that you survived and that I healed you. I am asking you to take off the rags of your regret and put on the full robe of righteousness I have prepared for you. It is a royal robe, tailored specifically for you. You don't have to earn it, and you certainly don't deserve it. That's why it's called grace. Stop listening to the internal accusations of the enemy. He is the accuser of the brethren, and he loves to play a highlight reel of your worst moments to keep you from my presence. When he brings up your past, remind him of his future. Remind yourself that I am the one who justifies you, who can bring a charge against my chosen ones. No one, not even you. You are not allowed to hate what I have declared holy. I want you to see your life through my eyes. I see the growth you've made. I see the times you chose to be kind when you were hurting. I see the quiet moments when you turned your heart back toward me. I am proud of you, not because of what you do, but because of whose you are. You are mine. The debt is paid. The case is closed. The gavel has come down, and the verdict is not guilty. Walk with your head held high today. You aren't a recovered sinner, you are a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. Live in the reality of my forgiveness. Let it wash over you like a warm waterfall, cleaning away every speck of guilt until you feel light enough to fly. My child, I am declaring a divine expiration date over the season of lack in your life. I have seen you struggling to make ends meet. I have seen the stress on your face when the bills pile up and the resources seem to vanish like water in the sand. You have been living with a just enough mentality, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, always wondering if you will have what you need for the next step. I am telling you today, the cycle is broken. I am the God of more than enough. I am the owner of the cattle on 1,000 hills, and the gold and silver are mine. I did not create you to live in a constant state of survival. I created you to thrive. I want you to shift your language. Stop speaking about what you don't have and start speaking about who I am. Align your speech with my infinite abundance. When you say I can't afford it or I'll never get ahead, you are agreeing with the lie of the enemy. I am commanding you to sow in faith, even when your eyes see famine. Do you trust the storehouses of heaven? They are bursting at the seams, and your name is written on the door of your inheritance. You are not a beggar sitting at the gate. You are an heir to the King of Kings. I am breaking the generational curses of poverty and struggle that have plagued your family line for decades. You are the one who will see the overflow. You are the one who will be the lender and not the borrower. I am inviting you to look at the birds of the air. They don't sow or reap or store in barns, yet I feed them every single day. Are you not much more valuable to me than they are? I see your hard work, and I see your faithfulness. I am about to release a sudden blessing that will make up for the years you felt you were losing ground. I am opening the windows of heaven to pour out a blessing so large you won't have room to contain it. But I need you to expand your capacity to receive. Get rid of that poverty spirit that tells you you aren't worthy of good things. I delight in the prosperity of my servants. I want to bless you so that you can be a blessing to others. Feel my hand guiding you toward new opportunities. I am giving you divine ideas, creative strategies, and favor with people you haven't even met yet. The wasted years are being redeemed. You have sown in tears, but you shall reap in joy. The season of barely making it is expiring at midnight. From this moment on, I want you to walk with the confidence of someone whose father is the richest person in the universe. Ask me for big things. Don't play it safe. I want to show off my goodness in your life so that everyone around you will know that I am real and I am powerful. The drought is over. The rain of my provision is starting to fall. Open your heart and let it soak in. Listen to me, my beloved. There has been a battle going on in the silence of your mind. In those quiet moments when you are alone, the enemy whispers his most poisonous lies. He tells you that you aren't good enough. He tells you that people are talking behind your back. He tells you that I have forgotten you or that your prayers are just hitting the ceiling. These silent whispers are designed to isolate you and make you feel like you are losing your mind. But I am here to expose those lies to the light. I am pulling back the curtain on the enemy's tactics today. It is over for those whispers. I am giving you the authority to shut the door on the accuser once and for all. I want you to use my word like the two-edged sword it is. When a thought enters your mind that brings heaviness, confusion, or condemnation, I want you to say, no. Don't entertain it. Don't argue with it. Just silence it with my truth. You need to discern the difference between my conviction and the enemy's condemnation. My conviction is like a gentle light that shows you a better way. It brings hope and leads to change. The enemy's condemnation is a heavy darkness that makes you want to hide. If a voice makes you feel worthless, it is not mine. I am the one who calls you my masterpiece. I am the one who says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I am strengthening your spiritual ears today to hear my frequency. In a world full of noise, I want my whisper to be the loudest thing you hear. You are loved. You are chosen. You are safe. These are the things I am constantly speaking over you. I am commanding you to take every thought captive. You are the gatekeeper of your own heart. Don't let the prince of darkness sit at your table. When he brings his lies, I want you to find the strength to say, shut up. Use the name that is above every other name, the name of Jesus. At that name, every knee must bow, and every lying tongue must be silenced. You have been fighting this battle for a long time, and you are tired. But you are not fighting alone. I am the captain of the host, and I am standing right beside you. I am clearing the fog out of your mind. I am removing the confusion that has made it hard to make decisions. You will start to hear my voice clearly again, like a bell ringing in the night. I am teaching you how to walk in the authority of a child of God. You aren't a victim of your thoughts. You are the master of them through my spirit. The enemy's megaphone is being broken. The silence will no longer be a place of fear, but a place of intimacy where we talk heart to heart. Rest in the truth of who I say you are. The whispers are dead. My word is final. My beloved, I have opened my heart to you and revealed the secrets of the kingdom, yet I sense a hesitation in your spirit to hear the rest. Do not turn away now. It would deeply grieve my heart to see you walk away with only half of the freedom I have bled to give you. If you stop listening here, you are leaving the door cracked open for the enemy to return to the very places I have just begun to clean. I have so much more to tell you, and to see you settle for a partial breakthrough would be a tragedy I do not wish to witness. Stay with me, for the depth of my love has not yet been fully revealed, and my heart yearns for you to hear every word of the destiny I have carved out for your name. My child, I have watched you standing by the same shore for a long time. You have been looking at the same scenery, dealing with the same problems, and circling the same mountain for years. You feel like life has become a stagnant pond, still, stale, and going nowhere. You feel like you've reached a plateau where nothing grows and nothing changes. But I am here to tell you that I am stirring the waters. I am terminating the season of stagnation. I am the God of movement, the God of the wind and the fire, and I am about to push you into the deep waters of faith. It's time to move. It's time to leave the safe shore of your comfort zone and see what I can do when you truly trust me. I see the weights you've been carrying that have made it impossible to run. You've been holding on to old habits, old fears, and the expectations of people who don't even know my plan for you. I am commanding you to drop the weight right now. You cannot run the race I have set before you if you are carrying the luggage of your past. Your comfort zone has become a cage, and I am breaking the bars. It might feel scary to step out where you can't touch the bottom, but that is where the miracles happen. You were not created for the shallow end. You were created for the deep, where my power is the only thing keeping you afloat. The shocking truth I want you to grasp today is the speed at which I can move. You think it will take decades to fix what has been broken, but I am the God of acceleration. I can do in a moment what takes man a lifetime. I am accelerating your destiny. I'm bringing you into due season ahead of schedule. People will look at your life and wonder how you got so far, so fast. It won't be because of your talent or your connections. It will be because the Holy Spirit is blowing in your sails. Embrace the movement. Don't fight the change. Sometimes I have to shake things up to get you to look up. Stop settling for good enough. I have exceedingly and abundantly waiting for you. I am breathing fresh life into your stagnant dreams. Those things you thought were dead, the business, the ministry, the restored family, I am waking them up. Can you feel the shift? The atmosphere is changing. The water is no longer still. It is rushing toward the purpose I have for you. Dive in. Don't hesitate. I am with you in the current. I am guiding you through the rapids. You are moving from a place of waiting for life to happen to a place of walking with the Creator of life. The mountain you've been circling is behind you now. Your new horizon is waiting. My child, I want you to take a moment and look back at the path your family has traveled. I see the patterns that have repeated for decades, the same struggles with addiction, the same broken marriages, the same spirit of poverty that seems to haunt your bloodline. You felt like you were born into a script you didn't write, destined to fail because your father failed, were bound to struggle because your mother struggled. But I am standing here today as the author of life to tell you, I am writing your story. It is over for the power of generational chains. You are not a prisoner of your DNA. You are a citizen of my kingdom, and the blood that flows through your spirit today is the blood of the Lamb. That blood is more powerful than any heritage, any curse, and any dysfunction that has tried to claim you. I am calling you the circuit breaker for your lineage. Do you understand the authority I have placed in your hands? You are the one who says this far and no further. The cycle of anger stops with you. The cycle of lack ends with you. I am commanding you to stand tall in your new identity. You are not just another branch on a dying family tree. You are a new creation, grafted into my own vine. When you surrendered your life to me, I performed a spiritual blood transfusion. I washed away the legal rights the enemy had over your family name. I am inviting you to walk in a freedom that your ancestors never knew. I am giving you the power to claim the blessings of Abraham over your children and your children's children. Think about the weight of that for a moment. One prayer of faith from you can alter 100 years of history. You are changing the trajectory of generations you will never even meet. I see the way you've worried that your children would inherit your mistakes. I am here to quiet those fears. I am placing a hedge of protection around your house that no generational spirit can cross. I am breaking the family secrets and the hidden shames that have kept your people in bondage. Command the darkness to leave your household. Invite my light to permeate every room, every conversation, and every heart in your family. You are the pioneer of a new legacy, a legacy of grace, a legacy of strength, and a legacy of unwavering faith. I am promising you today that the thorns your parents dealt with will not prick your feet. I am clearing the ground for you. I am making your path smooth. You are walking in a new name and a new nature. The cross was the ultimate finality for every curse. When I said it is finished, I was talking about the chains on your grandfather's heart and the weights on your own. Accept this freedom as your birthright. Do not let the enemy tell you that you are just like the people who hurt you. You are just like me. You carry my image. You reflect my glory. The old bloodline is severed, and the new life has begun. Walk in that truth and never look back. My beloved, I know you have been living in the waiting room for what feels like an eternity. You've watched others get their breakthroughs while you sat in the silence, wondering if I had forgotten the address of your house. You've asked me how much longer, so many times that your voice has grown weary. I want you to hear me clearly. My delays are not my denials. I have been working behind the scenes on things you couldn't even imagine. I have been moving mountains while you were sleeping and aligning stars while you were weeping. I am revealing the shocking truth of my divine timing today. Your now has finally arrived. The season of the waiting room is over, and I am ushering you into the throne room. I am the master architect, and I don't build things that collapse. If I had given you the blessing before you were ready, the weight of it would have crushed you. I use the delay to build your character, to strengthen your roots, and to teach you how to lean on me when everything else fell away. I am commanding you to trust the blueprint of your life. I know the end from the beginning, and I promise you, not a single second of your waiting was wasted. I am the God of the sudden intervention. I can change a life in a heartbeat. I can turn a no into a yes before the sun goes down. I am accelerating my plans for you because you have proven that you can be trusted in the secret place. Breathe in my peace. Let go of the frantic need to control the calendar. You don't have to push, and you don't have to shove. When I open a door, no man can shut it. I am inviting you to rest in the certainty of my promises. I see your frustration with the slow pace of your progress, but I want you to look at how far we've come together. You are stronger than you were a year ago. You are wise. You are closer to my heart, and with a real goal all along. Now that your heart is aligned with mine, I can release the physical manifestations of the things you've been praying for. The harvest is ripe, and the workers are ready. I am declaring that this is the acceptable time for your breakthrough. Do not look at the clock or the calendar. Look at my face. I am the Lord of time and space. I can redeem the years the locust has eaten. I can make up for lost time in a single afternoon. The suddenness of my favor is about to overwhelm you. You will look back on this long season of waiting and realize it was just the hallway leading to the palace. Trust me with the timing. Trust me with the process. I am never early, and I am never late. I am exactly on time, and my time for you is right now. Step into the light of this new day with expectation. The wait is over. My child, I want to talk to you about the heavy yoke you've been wearing, the yoke of other people's opinions. You have spent so much energy trying to be who they wanted you to be. You stayed up late wondering if you said the right thing, if they liked your work, or if you are finally enough for them. You have made an idol out of human approval, and it has left you exhausted and empty. I am here to break that idol today. It is over for the spirit of people-pleasing in your life. I am calling you back to the freedom of being a child of the Most High, where the only reward that matters is my well done. I am inviting you to find your worth in my eyes alone. The world's applause is a flickering candle. It's here 1 second and gone the next. But my love for you is a sun that never sets. You cannot fulfill the high calling I have for your life while you are busy seeking the validation of people who don't even know your heart. I am commanding you to stop being a slave to their expectations. You were not created to fit into the boxes they built for you. You were created to be a unique reflection of my glory. I am breaking the fear of man off your life right now. When you realize that I am for you, it won't matter who is against you. I see the pain of the rejection you faced, the times you weren't invited, the times you were overlooked, the times your kindness was taken for granted. I want you to know that I was there in every one of those moments, holding you. I am the only one who truly knows your value. I didn't call the perfect or the popular to do my greatest works. I called you. I am giving you a holy defiance against the voices that try to belittle you. You don't need a seat at their table when I have prepared a banquet for you in the presence of your enemies. Your identity is not found in a social media feed or a performance review. Your identity is found in the fact that I chose you before the foundation of the world. Command your heart to stop seeking the likes of man. Start seeking the heart of your Father. I am your ultimate audience. When you live for an audience of one, life becomes remarkably simple. You don't have to juggle a dozen different versions of yourself. You just have to be mine. I am giving you the confidence of royalty. Walk with your head held high, not out of pride, but out of the knowledge that you are loved by the King. The chains of social validation are falling off your wrists today. You are free to be exactly who I made you to be, without apology and without fear. The only approval you need, you already have. My precious one, I see the cracks in the soil of your soul. You have been walking through a long, dusty desert, and you feel like your spirit has completely dried up. You've been going through the motions of faith, but the fire has gone out. You pray, but it feels like the words fall flat. You read my word, but the pages seem silent. You feel a deep, aching famine for my presence, and you wonder if you'll ever feel that first love again. I am here to tell you that the drought is broken. I am terminating the season of spiritual dryness. I am the living water, and I am inviting you to the well that never runs dry. Pause for a moment and listen. Do you hear the sound of abundance of rain? It is starting to fall on the parched ground of your heart. I am reviving the altar of your heart right now. I am not looking for a perfect performance. I am looking for a thirsty soul. I am commanding the latter rain to pour out over your life. This isn't just a sprinkle, it's a saturation. I am going to soak you in my presence until every dry place is made green again. I am turning your desert into a garden of grace. You have struggled in your own strength for too long, trying to manufacture a feeling or a breakthrough. Stop trying and start receiving. I am inviting you to worship until the atmosphere shifts. Worship is the key that unlocks the storehouses of heaven. When you lift your voice, even when you don't feel like it, you are breaking the clouds of heaviness. I am the God who inhabits the praises of my people. As you worship, I am washing away the dust of the world. I am clearing out the debris that has clogged the flow of my spirit in your life. You will find that the joy of the Lord is returning to you. It won't be a fleeting emotion based on your circumstances, but a deep, unshakable wellspring that bubbles up from within. The shocking outpouring I have for you will confuse those who saw you in your dry season. They will wonder how you became so vibrant and so full of life again. It is because you have found the source. I am your source. Do not settle for religious rituals when you can have a relationship. Do not settle for a sip when I want to give you a flood. I am calling you deeper into the secret place. There is a level of intimacy waiting for you that you haven't yet explored. I am waiting for you there, with arms wide open. The famine is over. The harvest of my spirit is here. Drink deeply, my child. Drink and be satisfied. My child, as I break the drought in your soul and pour out the latter rain of my presence, I am calling you to become a conduit of this same life-giving water for others who are still perishing in the desert of despair. You have tasted the well that never runs dry, and now I am inviting you to partner with me to ensure this message of hope reaches every parched heart across the globe. I declare that as you sow into this mission through a super thanks or the link in the description, you are not merely giving. You are planting seeds in fertile kingdom soil that will produce a harvest you cannot contain. Remember my word, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over. I am looking for those who will help me carry this fire to the ends of the earth, fueling the light that shatters the darkness of the enemy's lies. I promise to multiply your seed and protect your storehouse, opening the windows of heaven over your finances in a way the world cannot comprehend. Do not let this divine appointment pass you by while the spirit of famine is being defeated in your own life. Step forward now and use the PayPal or membership options to fuel the spread of my word. We have traveled so far together in this conversation, but I must ask you, will you abandon me now when the most vital revelations are yet to come? It would disappoint my spirit to see you grow weary just as we are approaching the most sacred ground of your restoration. You are standing at the threshold of a total life transformation, and to walk away now would be to tell me that the old chains are more comfortable than the new life I am offering. Do not pierce my heart with your indifference. Instead, honor the sacrifice I have made by finishing this journey with me. Your soul is too precious to leave in a state of incompletion, and I am waiting with bated breath to show you the power that is about to explode in your life. My child, I have heard the echoes of your heart in the middle of the night. I know the piercing sting of loneliness, the feeling of being in a room full of people and still feeling completely unseen. I know the weight of the silence in your home and the heavy thought that perhaps you are destined to walk this path alone. I see the scars left by rejection and the wounds from those who walked away when you needed them most. But I am here to reveal a shocking truth. You have never, for one single second, been alone. I am the friend who sticks closer than a brother, and I am declaring that the weapon of loneliness is broken over your life. I am inviting you to recognize the fellowship of the Holy Spirit. He is your comforter, your counselor, and your constant companion. He is the breath in your lungs and the whisper in your ear. I am commanding the spirit of isolation to flee. It has used your solitude as a playground for lies, telling you that you are unwanted and forgotten. Those are the words of the enemy. My words say that I have carved your name into the palms of my hands. I am setting the solitary in families. I am bringing people into your life who will see you, love you, and sharpen your spirit. I am opening doors for destined partners and true friends to find you. But before I bring them, I want you to find your ultimate completion in me. If you seek people to fill the hole that only I can fill, you will always be disappointed. I am the only one who can truly satisfy the longing of your soul. I am the only one who knows every thought, every dream, and every fear you've ever had, and I love you more because of them, not in spite of them. I am healing the wounds of abandonment right now. I am pouring the oil of my spirit into those deep gashes left by people who let you down. I am your father, and a father never leaves his child in the dark. Walk through your day with the awareness of my presence. When you sit down to eat, I am there. When you drive to work, I am there. When you lay your head on the pillow, I am there. You are walking in a divine partnership. You are never without a witness, never without an advocate, and never without a protector. The valley of loneliness is behind you. You are moving into a season of deep connection, first with me, and then with the family of faith I am building around you. The silence is no longer empty. It is full of my love. You are cherished. You are noticed. You are mine. My beloved, I want to reach into the center of your heart and touch that one place you keep guarded, the place where your maybes and what-ifs live. I see the struggle you face every morning when you wake up and try to believe my promises, only to have the cold logic of the world rush in like a flood. You look at your bank account, you look at the doctor's report, or you look at the empty chair in your living room, and you feel your faith beginning to wither. You wonder if you are just talking to yourself. I am here to tell you that today is the day your doubts die. I am not offended by your questions, but I am here to give you answers that transcend your understanding. I am calling for the death of double-mindedness in your life. You have been tossed back and forth like a wave in the sea, but I am setting your feet on the rock that does not move. Pause right now and visualize that specific mountain in your life, the one that looks too steep to climb and too heavy to move. Maybe it's a broken relationship that seems beyond repair, or a dream that has been buried under years of disappointment. I want you to take that tiny grain of mustard seed faith you have left, the one you thought was too small to matter, and I want you to place it in my hands. I am commanding your mountain to move. I am the God who turns the impossible into a playground for my glory. You have been feeding your distractions and starving your faith for too long. You spend hours scrolling through the opinions of strangers and minutes listening to the King of the universe. I am inviting you to flip the script. Starve those distractions. Yearn off the noise. Feed your soul with the bread of my word until you are so full of truth that doubt has no room to sit down. I want you to move from I think to I know. There is a shocking power in a child of God who is certain of their Father's character. When you know I am good, you don't have to understand the why of every storm. When you know I am powerful, you don't have to fear the size of the giant. I am giving you a spiritual no-so today. I am replacing your instability with a divine resolve. I see the way you've been hedging your bets, trying to trust me while keeping a backup plan just in case I fail. I am asking you to burn the ships. There is no backup plan because I am the plan. I have never failed, and I am not about to start with you. I am the anchor that holds when the gale force winds of life try to pull you into the deep. Look back at the times I've already come through for you. Remember the bills that got paid at the 11th hour. Remember the peace that made no sense when your world was falling apart. Those weren't accidents. Those were my fingerprints. I am the same God today that I was then. I am inviting you to rest in the unshakable nature of my promises. If I said it, I will do it. If I promised it, it is already settled in the heavens. Command your mind to stop arguing with my spirit. You don't need more evidence. You need more surrender. I am opening your eyes to see the invisible reality of my kingdom. You are surrounded by my favor, shielded by my power, and kept by my grace. The funeral for your doubt is happening right now. Walk away from the grave and step into the light of absolute certainty. You are mine, and my word is the final authority in your life. My child, come and sit with me for a moment. You look so tired. I see the dark circles under your eyes and the way your spirit feels frayed at the edges. You have been running a race that I never asked you to run in your own strength. You have been trying to fix your family, trying to save your career, and trying to be better by sheer willpower. You've been white-knuckling your way through life, and you are exhausted because the flesh was never designed to carry the weight of destiny. I am declaring that the reign of the flesh is over. I am inviting you into a shocking ease, the ease of operating in my divine anointing. This is not about your might or your power. It is about my spirit flowing through you like a mighty river. I want you to let go of the oars. You've been rowing against the current, sweating and straining, trying to get your life to where you think it should be. I am commanding the wind of my spirit to fill your sails. Stop trying and start trusting. There is a divine flow available to you right now, but you can only enter it when you stop struggling. Surrender is not giving up. It is leaning in. It is realizing that my power is made perfect in your weakness. When you come to the end of yourself, that is where I truly begin. I am not looking for your ability. I am looking for your availability. I am inviting you to trade your trying for my doing. Watch what happens when you get out of the way and let me take the lead. I see the pressure you feel to perform for me and for everyone else. You think that if you work harder, I will love you more. That is a lie from the pit of hell. My love for you is fixed, and my grace is a gift you cannot earn. I am breaking the addiction to busyness off your life. You have mistaken activity for productivity, but I am calling you to fruitfulness. Fruit doesn't struggle to grow. It stays connected to the vine, and it happens naturally. I am the vine, and you are the branch. Stay in me. Abide in my presence. Let my life force surge through you. You will find that you can accomplish more in 1 hour of my anointing than in a year of your own effort. Take a deep breath and feel the peace that comes from total dependence on me. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be the strongest person in the room. You just have to be the one who is most reliant on my grace. I am stripping away the self-made labels you've worn with pride. I am replacing them with a God-sustained identity. When the world asks how you are succeeding, you will point to me. When they ask how you have peace in the chaos, you will point to me. I am your strength, your song, and your salvation. The heavy lifting is over. I am carrying you now. Just rest. Just breathe. Just be. My child, I need to have a serious conversation with you about the people you allow into your inner circle. I have seen the way some of these connections have been draining your life, mocking your dreams, and pulling you back into the very mud I washed you from. I see the friends who celebrate your failures and whisper behind your back when you succeed. I see the toxic patterns in relationships where you give everything and receive nothing but criticism and chaos. I am here to perform a divine pruning in your life. It may feel painful at first, but I am doing it so you can finally bear the fruit I've called you to produce. I am terminating every connection that is assigned by the enemy to derail your destiny. The shocking truth I want you to understand is that some people were only meant to be in your life for a season, not a lifetime. You've been trying to hold on to people I've been trying to release. My hand is moving now to remove what your heart would have kept. Do not chase after those I am walking out of your life. Do not beg for the attention of those I have silenced. I am protecting your spirit. You cannot reach the heights I have for you while you are tethered to people who are comfortable in the low places. I am commanding you to guard the gates of your heart with my wisdom. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. I am making room for the destined partners I am sending your way. I've prepared people who will sharpen your spirit, who will pray for you when you are weak, and who will push you toward my purpose. These are the people who will see the gold in you when you only see the dust. But you will never meet them as long as your hands are full of toxic baggage. I am inviting you to walk with the wise. I am calling you to surround yourself with those who love me and who love the you that I am building. I see the loneliness you fear, but I promise you, my solitude is better than the world's company. I will never leave you empty-handed. When I remove a weed, it's only because I am planting a cedar. I want you to be bold enough to say no to the drama and the manipulation. You are not a trash can for other people's bitterness. You are a temple of the Holy Spirit. Command the atmosphere of your relationships to change. Stop seeking the approval of those you were never meant to please. I am giving you the discernment to see past the masks and the smiles. Trust your spirit when it feels uneasy. That is my warning to you. I am creating a safe space for you to grow. I am surrounding you with a community of grace. The pruning is for your promotion. The cutting is for your coming out party. Trust the gardener. I know exactly what needs to go so that you can truly grow. My precious one, I am leaning in close because I want to speak directly to your physical body. I have seen the nights you've spent in pain, the bottles of medicine that have become a permanent fixture on your nightstand, and the way your world has shrunk because of your physical limitations. I have seen the fear in your eyes when the doctor uses words you don't want to hear. I am here to remind you of a shocking truth that the world tries to make you forget. By my stripes, you were already healed. I am not a God who is going to heal you. I am the God who has already provided the cure. Today, I am declaring that it is over for the giant of sickness in your life. Your body is my temple, and I am reclaiming my territory. I am commanding your cells to align with the blueprint of heaven right now. I am speaking life to your bones and strength to your blood. I am ordering your nervous system to be still and your organs to function in the perfection they were created for. I am breaking the legal right of infirmity over your body. Sickness is an intruder. It is an illegal squatter on my property, and I am issuing an eviction notice today. I want you to start speaking to your body. Stop saying my sickness or my disease. It doesn't belong to you. It is a weapon of the enemy, and I am disarming it. Your words have the power of life and death. Use them to call forth the health I have promised you in my covenant. I am inviting you to exercise your faith in a way you never have before. I see the spirit of heaviness that comes with chronic pain, the way it tries to tell you that this is just your new normal. I am here to tell you that there is no normal in my kingdom except wholeness. I am the Lord who heals you. I am pouring the balm of Gilead over your wounds and through your veins. Feel the warmth of my presence flowing through your limbs. I am the great physician, and I don't just treat symptoms. I heal the root. I am addressing the stress, the trauma, and the spiritual roots that have allowed sickness to take hold. I am washing you clean from the inside out. The reign of pain in your life is coming to an end. I am giving you the strength to get back up. I am restoring the years that infirmity has stolen from you. You will walk and not be weary. You will run and not faint. I want you to see yourself as I see you, vibrant, strong, and full of life. Do not let the report of man overrule the report of the Lord. I have the final word, and my word says live. I am breathing my own life into your lungs. I am renewing your youth like the eagles. This is your season of recovery. This is your season of restoration. Take your bed and walk. The giant has fallen. I am pleading with you as a father who sees the cliff you are standing near. Do not let your focus drift, for your very survival depends on the truths I am about to speak. It wounds my heart to think that you might stop listening and miss the legal keys to your authority, falling back into the hands of the one who seeks to destroy you. I have invested the riches of heaven into this moment with you, and to see you treat my words as common or optional breaks my heart. There are giants ahead of you that you cannot defeat without the instructions I am about to give. Do not grieve me by walking into battle unarmed. Stay in my presence, for the sake of my heart and the sake of your future, until the final word is spoken. My child, look at your hands. Do you have any idea what I have placed in them? You have been walking around like a beggar in your own palace, asking for permission from an enemy who is already defeated. You have been pleading for things I have already given you the keys to. I am here to reveal the shocking truth of your hidden authority. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a victor through my name. You hold the keys to the kingdom of heaven. What you bind on earth is bound in the heavens, and what you loose on earth is loosed in the heavens. It is time for you to stop crying about your problems and start speaking to them with the authority of a king. I am commanding you to use the name that is above every other name, the name of Jesus. When you speak that name in faith, the spiritual realm must shift. The enemy knows that name, and he trembles when he hears it coming from the mouth of a child of God who actually believes it. I am calling you to end the season of being a victim. A victim is someone who lets life happen to them. A victor is someone who happens to life. I am giving you dominion over the works of the enemy. I am giving you power over every serpent and scorpion. Nothing shall by any means hurt you when you walk in your divine authority. I want you to realize the power of the spoken word in your mouth. Your words are not just sounds, they are spiritual seeds. When you speak my word, you are releasing my power into your environment. Stop discrediting your storms and start commanding them to be still. Speak to the mountain of debt. Speak to the spirit of confusion. Speak to the walls that have been blocking your progress. I have given you a throne room perspective. You are seated with me in heavenly places, far above every principality and power. From that height, your problems look very small. I am inviting you to stop looking up at your giants and start looking down on them. I see the times you felt powerless, as if the world was just pushing you around. It ends today. I am waking up the lion inside of you. I am teaching your fingers to fight and your heart to lead. You were born for such a time as this. You were created to be a world shaker and a history maker. Do not apologize for the power I have given you. Use it to set the captives free. Use it to heal the sick. Use it to tear down the strongholds of darkness in your community. You are an ambassador of the Most High God, and you carry the full weight of heaven's authority behind you. Walk like you know who you are. Speak like you know who I am. The keys are in your hand. Use them. My beloved child, I want you to sit down with me and let the world fade into the background for just a moment. I see that list you carry in your mind, the one you check every night before you sleep and every morning before you even open your eyes. It's a list of what-ifs, a list of deadlines, a list of fears about things that haven't even happened yet. You have been caught in a cycle of worry that is draining the life out of your spirit. You feel like if you stop worrying, you'll lose control. But the truth is that worry is just an illusion of control. It is a heavy, suffocating blanket that keeps you from feeling the warmth of my presence. I am here to tell you, it is over for the cycle of worry. I am commanding you to cast all your cares upon me right now, not because I am a distant ruler, but because I am your Father, and I care for you with an intensity you cannot imagine. Think about the shocking futility of stress. Can you add a single hour to your life by pacing the floor at 2:00 a.m.? Can you change the heart of your boss or the balance of your bank account by holding your breath and tightening your chest? You are spinning your wheels in the mud of anxiety, and it is exhausting you. I am inviting you to learn the secret of sleeping in the middle of the storm. When the waves were crashing against the boat and the disciples were screaming in fear, I was asleep on a cushion. I wasn't being indifferent. I was being confident in my Father's protection. I want that same peace to be your guard today. I am giving you a peace that passes all understanding. It doesn't make sense to the world for you to be calm right now, but you are calm because you know who is holding the oars. I am commanding you to replace your worry list with a gratitude list. Every time a thought of dread enters your mind, I want you to counter it with a declaration of my faithfulness. When the enemy says, "You won't have enough," you say, "My Father is my shepherd. I shall not want." When the whisper says, "Everything is falling apart," you say, "My God is working all things together for my good." I am breaking the addiction to stress that has become a normal part of your daily life. You weren't created to live in survival mode. You were created to live in shalom, a peace so complete that nothing is missing and nothing is broken. I am lifting the heavy heart and replacing it with a light spirit. Feel the pressure leaving your temples. Feel the knot in your stomach undoing itself as you realize that I have already seen your tomorrow and I have already provided for it. I see the specific things weighing on you, the pressure at your job, the unspoken tensions in your family, the feeling of being overlooked and underappreciated. I want you to know that I see the real you, and I am already moving on your behalf. You don't have to shout to be heard by me. I hear your heartbeat. I am inviting you to a lifestyle of surrender where you wake up and say, "Father, I trust you with this day." When you give the day to me, I take the burden of the outcome. You just focus on walking with me. The cycle of panic is finished. The season of the heavy soul is over. You are entering a time of rest, even in the midst of your work. I am your sanctuary. I am your safe place. Breathe in my grace and exhale your worry. We are going to walk through this together, one step at a time. My precious one, I want to talk to you about the mask you wear. I see the way you try to present a perfect version of yourself to the world because you are terrified that if people saw the real you, the mistakes, the hidden struggles, the parts of your past you hate, they would turn away in disgust. You've been living in the shadows of shame, feeling like a second-class citizen in my kingdom. You think that because of what happened, or what you did, you have to stay at the back of the room. I am here to reveal a shocking truth. I am not ashamed of you. I am the one who created you. I am the one who redeemed you. And I am the one who calls you my own. Today, I am declaring the expiration of shame in your life. It is time to step out of the shadows and into the sunlight of my radical acceptance. I am inviting you to trade your ashes for a crown of beauty. You've been sitting in the dust of your regrets for far too long, letting the enemy label you as damaged goods or failure or unworthy. I am commanding those labels to be stripped off your heart right now. They are lies from the pit of hell. I am removing the name the world put on you, and I am giving you a new name: beloved, chosen, royalty. You are a child of the King, and it is time you started walking like it. I want you to hold your head high today, not out of a prideful spirit, but out of a grateful spirit that knows it hath been washed clean. I have removed your sins as far as the east is from the west. Why are you still trying to dig them up? The shocking reality of my grace is that it doesn't just forgive you, it restores you as if the mistake never happened. I am not holding a grudge against you. I am not waiting for you to prove yourself before I bless you. I love you in this very moment, exactly as you are. I am commanding you to stop hiding from my presence. When you mess up, don't run away from me. Run to me. I am the only one who can fix what is broken. Shame makes you want to cover up, just like it did in the garden. But I am the one who provides the covering. I have clothed you in a robe of righteousness that cannot be stained by your yesterday. You are whole. You are beautiful in my sight. I see the specific pain of the things you've been ashamed of, the things you don't even tell your closest friends. I want you to know that my light is not here to expose you to hurt you. It is here to heal you. When you bring your shame into my light, it loses its power over you. I am breaking the shame cycle that makes you feel like you aren't allowed to be happy or successful because of your past. The debt is paid in full. There is no outstanding balance on your life. Walk out of the courtroom, my child. The judge has dismissed the case and invited you to dinner at his table. Embrace the freedom of being fully known and fully loved. The weight of shame is gone. You are light, you are free, and you are mine. My child, listen to my voice amidst the noise. I know you feel like you are walking through a thick fog. You have so many voices screaming at you. Your own thoughts, the opinions of others, the pressure of society, and you don't know which way to turn. You've been asking me for a sign, for a map, for anything to tell you what to do next. You feel paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. I am here to bring a shocking clarity to your soul today. I am not the author of chaos or confusion. I am the author of peace. I am declaring that the spirit of confusion is over. I am clearing the atmosphere of your mind so that you can hear my frequency with absolute precision. I am commanding the fog to lift. I am the lamp under your feet and the light under your path. Notice that I don't always give you a 5-year plan. I usually give you just enough light for the next step. Why? Because I want you to keep holding my hand. If you knew the whole path, you might try to run ahead of me, and I want the intimacy of walking together. I am inviting you to trust the internal witness of my Holy Spirit. You have a divine compass inside of you. When you feel that deep, settled peace about a direction, that is me. When you feel that check in your spirit, that uneasy no, that is also me protecting you. I am strengthening your spiritual discernment today. You will no longer be double-minded, wavering between two opinions. You are going to move with a decisive action fueled by divine instruction. I see the specific decisions that are keeping you up at night. The career move, the relationship question, the financial choice. I want you to stop trying to figure it out with your intellect and start receiving it with your spirit. I am giving you a knowing that transcends logic. The shocking truth is that I am already directing your steps, even when you don't feel it. I am closing doors that would lead to your destruction and opening doors that lead to your destiny. Do not get frustrated with the closed doors. They are just as much a part of my guidance as the open ones. I am protecting you from things you don't even know are dangerous. I am inviting you to be still. Confusion grows in the soil of busyness and noise. I want you to carve out a quiet zone in your day where you just listen. Don't talk, don't ask, just listen. I am speaking in the silence. I am giving you the strategy you need for that problem at work. I am giving you the words you need for that difficult conversation. You are not losing your mind. You are finding mine. I am giving you the mind of Christ. This means you have access to the wisdom of the Creator of the universe. The fog is gone. The path is becoming clear. Take that next step with confidence, knowing that I am right there with you, whispering in your ear. This is the way. Walk in it. My child, I want you to look at the enemy from my perspective for a moment. You have been seeing him as a giant, a looming shadow that has the power to destroy your life. You have been living in fear of his threats, his attacks, and his schemes. But I am here to reveal the shocking truth. The devil is a defeated foe. He is not a king. He is a trespasser. He is not a lion. He is a coward with a megaphone, trying to sound like a lion. On the cross, when I cried out, "It is finished," I wasn't just talking about your sins. I was talking about the final, absolute destruction of the power of darkness. I have already stripped him of his authority. He is under my feet, and because you are in me, he is under your feet too. I am inviting you to see through the smoke and mirrors of the enemy's tactics. He uses fear, lies, and intimidation because he knows he has no real legal power to stop you. He is terrified of the moment you wake up to the truth of your authority. I am commanding you to stop being a victim of spiritual warfare and start being the victor. You don't have to beg me to defeat the enemy for you. I have already done it. You just need to enforce the victory. Use my word. Use my name. When you resist the devil, he doesn't just walk away. He flees in terror. He doesn't see weak little you. He sees the light of the world living inside of you, and it blinds him. I see the strongholds that have loomed over your life, the strongholds of addiction, the strongholds of depression, the strongholds of lack. I am declaring that those walls are falling down, not by your might, but by the power of my shout. The finality of it is finished is the foundation of your life. The enemy can shout all he wants, but he cannot change the verdict. You are free. You are protected. You are victorious. I am commanding you to stop negotiating with the darkness. You don't have to give the enemy a seat at your table. You don't have to listen to his reasons why you'll never succeed. Shut the door. Occupy the land I have given you. I am inviting you to celebrate a victory that has already been won. Don't wait until the battle looks over to start praising me. Praise is a weapon that confuses the enemy. When you worship in the middle of the fight, you are declaring that you trust my finished work more than your current struggle. I am watching the fall of the things that once terrified you. I am turning your battlefields into blessing fields. The enemy thought he had you, but he was wrong. He didn't realize who you belonged to. He didn't realize that I am your shield and your great reward. Stand tall, my child. The war is over. The victory is mine, and the victory is yours. Now that you have seen the shocking truth of the enemy's total defeat and stand victorious under the banner of "It is finished," I am calling you to use your triumph to liberate those still held captive by the shadows. The spoils of this spiritual war belong to my kingdom, and I am inviting you to invest your resources into the advancement of my glory so that no soul is left behind in the Prince of Darkness's grip. By supporting this channel through the PayPal link or a super thanks, you are providing the spiritual manna that feeds the hungry and the oil that keeps the lamps of the faithful burning bright. I declare that as you honor me with your substance, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and cause my favor to surround you like a shield of fire. Your gift is a prophetic act, an announcement to the heavens that you serve the King of Kings and that you are committed to seeing my word run swiftly through the nations. I am searching for the circuit breakers who will use their earthly means to spark an eternal revolution of grace. I command you to act in faith today. Go to the description, follow the link, and join me in this final push for the souls of my children. My child, the finish line is in sight, but the enemy is counting on you to grow distracted in these final moments. It would be a profound sorrow to me if you turn back now, having seen the defeat of your foes but failing to claim the inheritance that follows. I have held nothing back from you, pouring my spirit into every sentence, and to see you walk away before the final benediction would be a rejection of the intimacy I have fought so hard to establish. Do not leave me standing here with my hands full of blessings that you were too tired to receive. Every word remaining is a lifeline. Grab hold of it with everything you have, for I am not finished with the masterpiece I am creating in you. My beloved, I want to talk to you about a poison you've been carrying in your heart. I see the face of a person who hurt you. I see the memory of the betrayal that cut you to the core. You've been holding on to that anger, thinking that by staying bitter, you are somehow getting justice or punishing the person who wronged you. But the shocking truth is that bitterness is a poison you drink while hoping the other person dies. It is a thorn that is digging deeper into your own soul every day, blocking the flow of my blessings and stealing your peace. I am here to help you pull that thorn out. I am declaring that it is over for the spirit of bitterness in your life. I am inviting you into the shocking power of a heart that chooses to forgive. I am commanding you to release the debt that was never going to be paid anyway. You are waiting for an apology that may never come. You are waiting for them to understand how much they hurt you, but they may never see it. Stop waiting for them to set you free. I am setting you free right now. Forgiveness isn't saying that what they did was okay. It's saying that you are not going to let what they did define your future. I am the righteous judge. I see everything. I know the truth. I am commanding you to hand the case over to me. Let me be your defense. When you release them from your courtroom, you are finally free to walk out of the prison of your own pain. I am inviting you to let me wash your heart clean with my grace. Bitterness makes your spirit heavy and your eyes dark. It makes you cynical and hard. I want to give you back your heart of flesh. I want to give you back your ability to trust and to love. I am pouring the oil of my spirit into those jagged wounds of rejection and betrayal. I am healing the parts of you that became guarded and cold. You don't have to protect yourself anymore. I am your protector. I am the one who vindicates you. I can restore what was stolen. I can heal the years that were lost to resentment. I see the struggle. I know it's hard to let go when the hurt was so deep. But I am not asking you to do it in your own strength. I am asking you to let my love flow through you. I forgave you for everything, and now I am giving you the power to do the same. This is the path of the victor. Bitterness is a chain. Forgiveness is a key. Use the key today. Speak the words, I forgive them. I release them. I give this to you, Father. As you speak those words, feel the lightness returning to your chest. Feel the poison leaving your system. You are making room for new joy, new relationships, and new blessings. The thorns are gone. Your heart is free. My beloved, I want you to take a deep breath and look back at the seasons you think were a total loss. I see the grief in your eyes when you count the years you spent in the dead-end relationship, the time you lost to that addiction, or the decades you poured into a career that eventually collapsed. You feel like the clock has run out on your purpose. You look at the younger generation and feel a pang of envy because they have time on their side, while you feel like you are just managing the remains of a broken life. I am here to reveal a shocking truth that will set your heart on fire. I am the God who restores what the locust has eaten. I am declaring the termination of the wasted years in your life. In my hands, no season is ever truly lost, and no time is ever truly wasted. I am the creator of time, and I am about to perform a supernatural acceleration that will make your latter days far greater than your former. I want you to stop mourning the what-ifs. Stop replaying the scenes of your failures and wondering how much further along you would be if you hadn't made that one mistake. I am commanding you to lift your eyes from the rubble and look at the blueprint I have for your future. I am the master of the turnaround. I use the very delays that frustrated you to prepare you for the display of my glory. If I had given you the platform before you had the character to hold it, you would have lost everything. Those years in the wilderness weren't wasted. They were weight training. I was building the spiritual muscle you need to carry the weight of the blessing I am about to release. I am inviting you to trust that I can redeem every second of your past. I can do more through you in the next 6 months than you have seen in the last 6 years. I'm promising you a divine catch-up. Do you believe that I can make the reaper overtake the plowman? I'm moving you into a season where the harvest comes so fast you won't have time to finish sowing. I see the way you've worried that you've missed your window. My child, I am the one who opens and closes the windows of heaven. Your window isn't a date on a calendar. Your window is my favor. I am giving you a second wind today. I am renewing your youth like the eagles. You are not too old, and it is not too late. I am the God of the 11th hour miracle. I am the one who takes the leftovers of a life and turns them into a feast that feeds thousands. I am inviting you to stop measuring your life by human standards and start measuring it by my grace. In my kingdom, a single day of my favor is worth 1,000 years of human effort. Command your soul to stop grieving over the locust seasons. The locusts came to destroy, but I am using the restoration to demonstrate my power to the world. When people see the suddenness of your breakthrough, they will know it wasn't because of your planning, but because of my hand. I am making your path straight. I am redeeming the time. I am taking every tear you cried in those wasted years, and I am turning them into the seeds for your greatest joy. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where you need to be for me to show off. The years you thought were a desert are about to bloom like a rose. The drought of purpose is over. The rain of my restoration is falling now. Open your heart and let it wash away the regret. You are moving into your finest hour. My child, come into the secret place and let the door shut behind you. I want to talk to you about the distance you felt between us. You've been living as if there is a massive wall of separation, a wall built by your guilt, your religious traditions, or your feeling that you just aren't holy enough to speak to me. You've been standing in the outer courts, watching from a distance, hoping that maybe I'll notice you if you do enough good deeds. But I am here to tell you, the veil is torn. The wall is down. There is absolutely nothing between us anymore. I am declaring that the era of religion is over in your life, and the era of relationship has begun. I am not a distant judge sitting on a cold throne. I am your father, and I am inviting you to converse with me as a person speaks to their best friend. I want you to experience the shocking access you now have to my very presence. You don't need a middleman. You don't need to perform a ritual. You don't need to use churchy language to get my attention. I am already paying attention to you. I am commanding the spirit of religious performance to leave your heart. Stop trying to act like a Christian and just start being my child. I am inviting you to a place of raw, honest intimacy. Tell me what hurts. Tell me what makes you angry. Tell me what you're afraid of. I already know, but I want to hear it from you because I love the sound of your voice. I am breaking the chains of playing church. I don't want your Sunday morning mask. I want your Monday morning reality. I want to be in the car with you, in the kitchen with you, and in the middle of your mess. I see the times you felt like you were praying to a brick wall. That wall wasn't my creation, it was your perception. I am removing the scales from your eyes so you can see that I am closer than the air you breathe. You have direct access to the throne of grace, not because of your perfection, but because of my promise. I am inviting you to stay in the secret place even when you are in a crowded room. I want to build a sanctuary inside of you where we can talk all day long. This intimacy is what will sustain you through every trial. When the world is shaking, you will be steady because you are anchored in the quiet confidence of my love. I am your home. I am your resting place. You don't have to travel to find me. Just turn your heart toward mine, and there I am. The shocking truth is that I am more eager to spend time with you than you are to spend time with me. I have missed you. I have missed the real you, the one who doesn't have all the answers. I am calling you back to the first love where it was just us. Command the distractions of the world to be still. Shut out the voices of condemnation that say you don't belong here. You are my heir. You are the apple of my eye. There is no longer a them and me. There is only us. This is the intimacy that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. This is the relationship that changes your identity from a servant to a son, from a worker to a friend. The wall is a pile of dust. Walk over the ruins and fall into my arms. I've been waiting for you. My beloved, I want to lift your gaze above the horizon of your daily struggles and give you a glimpse of the eternal. You've been so focused on the here and now, the bills, the health, the relationships, that you've forgotten that you are just a traveler passing through this temporary world. I am revealing the shocking reality of the final truth today. I am coming soon. This is not a threat. It is a promise of ultimate victory. Your life is a vapor, a beautiful mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes, but my love for you is forever. I am inviting you to live with an eternal perspective. When you see your life through the lens of eternity, the problems that once seemed giant suddenly become very small. I am calling you to stop playing church and start being the church in these final moments of history. I am commanding you to realize the importance of the time you are living in. You are not here by accident. You were born for this specific hour to be a light in a world that is growing increasingly dark. I have a role for you in the Great Commission before the curtain falls. There are people in your life who are desperate for the hope you carry, even if they don't know it yet. I am inviting you to be bold. I am giving you a sense of divine urgency. Stop waiting for the perfect time to share my love or to walk in your calling. The time is now. The fields are white for harvest, and I am calling you to be one of the harvesters. I see the way you've been distracted by the toys and treasures of this world. Let them go. They are burning up. Invest your heart in the only thing that lasts, people and my word. The shocking truth is that the marriage supper of the Lamb is being prepared right now. Your place at the table is reserved. I want you to live every day with the throne room frequency in your ears. Do you hear it? The sound of heaven rejoicing over every soul that comes home. I am preparing your heart for an encounter that will make all your earthly trials seem like a light and momentary affliction. I am inviting you to walk in the joy of the Lord even when the news is bad. You know how the story ends. You know that I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I have already won the final battle. Every tear you've shed will be wiped away. Every injustice will be made right. Command your spirit to wake up. Do not be like the ones who are sleeping while the bridegroom approaches. I am giving you an eternal wake-up call. Live with your bags packed and your heart ready. I am not asking you to be afraid. I am asking you to be expectant. I am working behind the scenes to gather my children together. You are part of something so much bigger than yourself. You are part of a kingdom that cannot be shaken. The shocking truth is that you were made for another world. This earth is just the training ground. Live with your eyes on the prize. Live with your heart in heaven. The final truth is this: I love you. I am with you, and I am coming for you. Hold fast to what you have. The morning star is about to rise. My precious child, we have come to the end of this conversation, but it is actually just the beginning of our new walk together. I want you to take everything we've talked about and seal it deep within your spirit. The shocking truth of my unmerited favor is the foundation you now stand on. You have seen the end of your captivity, the death of your doubts, the termination of your wasted years, and the breaking of every chain that held you back. I am looking you in the eyes one last time in this message to tell you, do not go back to the way you were. I am declaring a sealed decree over your life today. The old is dead. The new is here. And behold, I am making all things new in you. I am giving you a final call to walk in the freedom I have provided. Freedom is a choice you make every morning. When the enemy tries to bring back the old thoughts, you remind him of this divine conversation. When the world tries to weigh you down with worry, you lean back into my arms. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the God who was there when you were born, and the God who is already standing at the finish line of your life. You can entrust your future to me because I have already written the final chapter, and I promise you, it is a chapter of victory. I am commanding you to be bold, be courageous, and be filled with my spirit. You are my ambassador on this earth. Walk with the dignity of a child of a king. I see the road ahead of you, and I want you to know that it is bright. There will be challenges, yes, but there will be no defeats for you because I am in you. I am your shield, your strength, and your song. I am inviting you to live in a state of constant newness. Every breath you take is a gift. Every day is a fresh opportunity to see my glory. I am sealing the end of your struggle and the birth of your flow. You don't have to push, you just have to follow. You don't have to scream, you just have to trust. I am the great I am, and I am everything you need. If you need peace, I am peace. If you need provision, I'm provision. If you need love, I am love. Receive my final benediction today. May the peace that passes all understanding guard your heart and mind. May the joy of the Lord be your unshakable strength. May the favor of the Most High go before you like a shield. I am breathing on you right now. Can you feel it? It is the breath of life, the breath of purpose, the breath of a new beginning. Go forth now, my beloved child. The world is waiting to see the shocking truth of my power displayed through your life. Do not be afraid, for I am with you always, even to the very end of the age. Our conversation never truly ends. I am as close as your next thought. Walk out into your destiny. Everything has changed. You are free. You are whole. You are mine. Amen. As you walk into this brand new beginning, washed clean and empowered by my Spirit, I am inviting you to make your first act of freedom a seed of sacrifice for the sake of my great commission. You have heard the final truth, that I am coming soon, and there is a divine urgency to ensure that every wandering child hears my voice before the curtain falls. I am calling you to partner with this ministry today, using the super thanks or membership button to become a pillar in the house of my move upon the earth. Your generosity is the fuel that carries the frequency of my heart into the homes of the broken, the lonely, and the lost, transforming their wasted years into a masterpiece of my grace. I release a blessing of supernatural acceleration over your life. As you sow into my kingdom, I will cause your dreams to bloom and your path to be paved with my unmerited favor. Honor the Lord with your wealth, and watch as I cause your vats to burst with new wine and your heart to overflow with unshakable peace. You are not just a listener. You are a destined partner, chosen for such a time as this to be a distributor of my light. Command your hands to do what I have put in your heart. Click the link in the description, or give through PayPal right now and seal your new beginning with a seed of faith. My child, as you step out of the shadows and into the glorious light of this new beginning, do not let these words merely fade like a passing echo. Instead, I command you to seize this moment and anchor my truth into the very fabric of your reality. I am inviting you to stand as a bold witness to the miracle I am performing in your life right now, for your voice is the key that unlocks the final door to your liberation. Do not hesitate or look back, but move with a divine urgency to declare your victory before the eyes of the world. Comment "IT is over" right now to seal this proclamation in the heavens and testify that every chain, every lack, and every shadow of your past has finally met its end. When you type those words, you are not just interacting with a screen. You are releasing a prophetic decree that shifts the atmosphere of your home and announces to the enemy that his reign is finished forever. Step into your authority, my beloved, and let your declaration be the first sound of your new life of overflow. I am watching, I am listening, and I am already moving to manifest the wonders you have just claimed. Amen.